Happy New Year, Junkies. Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. I'm your host, Kenshiro, and I'm joining you from the nexus of the Culture Junkies with my good friends, the Great Dada Kuji, Super Nerd Plus, GQ, and Fallen Marble. What's up, fellas? Round the horn. Great Dada Kuji, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Started a new year, and we are back.
You mad that we don't have flying cars yet?
No.
No? You sure?
Yeah, no.
Welcome back to another great episode of Culture Junkies Live.
I'm mad that I'm not just able to sit on my ass and play on video games all day like these young ass kids do. Because they grew up in a time where it's like, oh, Twitch is here, and
right.
Mommy, Daddy take care of me, and I'm just gonna get online and play. And then they get popular because all you gotta do is go to school, come home, play video games.
Hey, man,
People start looking at you.
Don't do that. Keeping up with the Joneses. Stuff,
Oh,
man.
doing a crap.
Yeah, that's not
Whatever.
gonna work. That's not gonna work. What's up, Super Nerd?
Hey, to access piggyback off him, we don't have future flying cars, but we got sex robots.
You was looking forward to that, wasn't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, you got a girlfriend. What are you doing?
I know.
But you still want
His
sex
brother
robot?
did it too.
Yeah, you
But him, I can understand that because he a freak. That's the way he rolls.
Listen,
You
I
bring
want to see
it
what
in.
that mouth do with the damn sex
You
robot.
gonna bite your shit off, dog.
three-way without having to actually bring somebody in.
All right.
That's not happening. No.
And back from the sunny state of California, Mr. GQ. What's up, man?
Not too much.
Yeah?
Yeah. Here, we made it. It's another decade.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I mean, it's 2020, man. I mean, shouldn't we be under the thrall of Skynet by now? Like, for real.
It's coming.
It is
If
coming.
Andrew Yang doesn't get friggin' elected, it's coming
Oh,
because you got a lot of dumbass people
is
that
he
don't
the
know.
last hope?
Hey, I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
Technology is moving. We
Yeah.
all know it's going to move. And out of the presidential candidates,
Yeah.
he's the only one that knows how to use a friggin' cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, all the rest of them don't know how to use a cell phone. They don't know how Facebook works. They don't know how anything works. They expect to
Excuse me.
friggin'.
I think our current president knows very well how to use.
He knows how to
the
use
cell
fucking
phone.
Twitter. Somebody told him how to use
He
I don't
doesn't
like
have
that,
Twitter
man.
fingers. He's talking to somebody. He's typing it for him.
friggin' piece of
I don't know, man. The way he be
think so?
firing off at the hip. I don't know, dog.
He probably is talking into it.
Yeah.
You can talk into the stuff nowadays.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he might know how to use that, but
Hold on.
The hand gestures. The hand gestures.
I think technology is not great, but when I use it, it is great.
The hand gestures
Right.
was awesome.
Nah,
I love that.
Nah,
That was great.
He has to type those out because sometimes you got all caps and all that. Talking
Well,
to
then again, I
text
guess
doesn't do all caps for
True.
you.
Well,
But where
people
did
who
Fifi
do
come
all
from?
text are psychopaths.
Well, you know this.
cap,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
of course. I mean, I'm not you personally. I'm not
Yeah,
you
the people
personally.
who do
I'm just
all
saying.
caps are psychopaths.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Oh, Father Marvel, what's up, man? How are you doing? Happy New Year to you.
I am doing pretty good. Happy new decade to everybody else out there. So yeah,
Indeed.
it's been an interesting 10 years leading up to.
Damn, 10 years.
Yeah, I know, right? It's been 10 years. I mean, imagine that. It's been 10
Yeah.
it just
years.
It hurts my brain for this
10
reason.
years.
20 years since the year 2000, right?
In
Yeah.
the year
Okay.
2000.
Yeah. In the year 2000.
Oh,
I always try to
and
put
for
this in
some of our
perspective.
folks out there that's a little confused, yes, the decade does start over when it's 0, not 1.
You know, a decade is every year. Every year a decade pass. Because next year, it is.
Look,
2000
man.
Hey,
Look, man.
every year a decade pass.
No, we're going from 0.
You can go from 0 for
9.
whatever, but
We're
every
not
year a
going
decade
one.
pass. Every year 10
No.
years has passed.
No.
If somebody's born 1981 and 1991, they're 10 years old, that's a decade. 76, 86,
I mean,
decade.
You getting caught up on all
Not-
kinds of technicalities.
every 10 years.
I mean, that's
It's the truth, though.
Yeah.
Because like 91 to 2001 is a decade. So I mean, it's like people just get hung up on calling it at the, for example, the turn of the century or the turn of from the 19s to the
When
20s
the
and
10th
blah blah
num-
blah.
when the 10th of the 100 number
Yeah.
changes.
Just
Yeah.
off to be on the zeros, everything on zero. But like, and try to put this into perspective for all you people out there. In 1970, when none of us was born, to 1990, that was 20 years. That's the same distance from 2000 to now, and it just doesn't feel.
No, it doesn't feel the
It
same.
doesn't
You're
feel
right.
like because 1970, 1990, so much has changed.
I think it's because things move quicker now.
I guess.
Because, like, okay,
Yeah.
for example, technology, just to begin with.
Right.
Microwaves and all that other sort of stuff came in the late 70s, early 80s, became popularized and kind of common in the mid 80s. You look at stuff like cell phones. Look at how fast cell phones have evolved.
Oh, jeez.
Back from
Yeah.
huge,
Flip phone.
not even
Man,
just the bricks,
snake.
not
Right.
even just the brick phones, but
Yeah.
like the actual, you had to have the little pack with the corded phone, and then looked like he was going out in the field in the army or something.
Yes.
So, going from
Yes.
that to what we have now, like, you look at somebody that's got a flip phone, it's like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it's like, and that's only in the span of what, 15 years?
I mean, I kind of miss my flip phone, right?
Hey,
Because,
they coming back. Did you not see that new Motorola? You didn't see that new Motorola?
Enterprise, yeah, dude, I used to love that shit.
They bringing back the Razor. It's all screen, still flip phone.
Yeah, but isn't it like more folded? Isn't it like a folded phone?
It's a folded phone like the old Razor was. You still
Yeah.
pop it up. It looks like the Razor, but you pop it up, it's all screen.
and it's a smartphone.
It's
Really?
a smartphone.
Hold on,
Yeah.
now,
That bitch
now,
expensive.
I could have sworn a couple, might
Yes,
have been last
yeah.
year, they was trying to do that all folks.
That was
screen phone.
Samsung.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm like,
seen
what
those.
is
They
this
look
crap,
sweet.
man?
No, it looks sweet. I've
It
seen
looks
it.
it
It
looks
looks
cool,
sweet, but it's gonna be a
but
problem.
It is the first one was a problem because people were peeling off what they thought was a protective thing. Like when you normally get a phone, they
Yeah.
peel it off.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
part of the phone,
Right.
And they didn't tell
And they-
anybody,
and they were
breaking
peeling
the
it
phone.
off.
But the other thing is, regardless of what they're trying to sell you, anything that folds can crease.
Eventually,
So
yeah.
it's like that screen is gonna have a crease on that fold line, no matter. I don't give a damn what they make it out of.
Right.
It's going to form a crease.
So
there.
I've seen it, and I didn't see a crease line
Yeah,
on it.
it's,
But,
it's the way the hinge is.
Yeah.
That it doesn't fold like that.
Right,
It
kinda
still
like-
has a little bit of a what you call it like that. And the
Yeah, the
Motorola
material-
one has a different kind of hinge than the Samsung.
because the phone, like the person, I seen two people with it. It looks like a
Wait a minute, you've actually seen this in person?
yes, twice. at
Really?
work, yeah. So it looks like an ice cream bar when it's closed up, like a straight up ice cream bar. Dead ass. I was like, what kind of shit is that? I said, he said, oh, it's the phone. He opens it up. I said, oh, snap. And there's no crease line or nothing in there. Maybe that was the second iteration of it, and there's no crease
How long
line.
has he had that phone?
I didn't ask all them questions. I didn't want to.
You want to ask all them questions? man? Come on, man.
Let me see that exact same phone a year from now.
Right.
Not saying
Yeah,
there's
see,
nothing
but
could
it's
happen.
just the way it is. It doesn't fold because like there's still a little gap.
I
when
get
the
it.
thing-
He said the
I-
material was different. That's
Yeah,
what he told me.
And that's fine. At the same time, I carry a phone with a holster. That phone will never be useful to me,
Right.
like ever.
Right.
Well, the flip phone one will probably come in a holster. I'm not talking about the Samsung one.
Right. Yeah.
And that one can still go in a holster. They all can still, I mean, right now maybe the technology is young, and it is because I just saw at the CES they're coming out with, Intel has this one. It looks like a laptop, but the whole thing is a screen. I'm talking about the whole freaking thing. I saw it
The fuck
almost
would you
right
want
before I
that
came
for?
here.
This is what I'm trying to
And you
say.
can
Like,
still,
wait, come
you
on.
can still type on it all the whole thing, but like literally, like my laptop.
That's
is in front of
Nintendo
me. The
DS.
whole thing
Okay,
is a
right.
screen.
But here's the-
and I'm just like,
That's the DS.
so I mean, the technology is coming.
I get where they're going,
Dude,
but you go
we
be
watched
carrying
it
around
on
handkerchiefs all the time, man. You'd be looking at that thing, I'll be like fingerprints
Yeah.
all over it
It
all the
probably
time.
Yeah,
Mad as hell.
yeah.
They probably will be eventually, but like they're gonna have the time where we're gonna have that freaking Back to the Future 2. Just like, pull it down. That's gonna be a TV. Boom.
Nah, only thing I
Roll
want,
that bitch right back.
only
up.
two things I want from Back to the Future. I want my damn real hoverboard, none of this BS
Hell
riding
yeah.
around on
Right.
wheels.
I'm
None
still
of that,
waiting on
that-
mine.
And the shoes.
Yeah. No, I don't care about the
You
shoes.
don't care about
I
shoes?
man, I wear
the
slip-on
shoes.
shoes most of the time anyway. I don't care about that self-lacing shoes.
The self-drying jacket.
No, I want that damn hydro food crap that they was eating, man. I
Oh,
want,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
he
yes.
put water on the pizza and just. No, he put it in a machine, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah, put it in the machine, the
Yeah.
hydrator machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nobody hydrates like you, man. I was like, dude. You put that in there, came out with a full-on pepperoni pizza. I was like, oh, it's on.
I mean, that could be the next step, though.
That
Think
might
about
be,
it. 'Cause
it might be.
It's time consuming. It's not time consuming, and it's easy to basically put out there for kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm with
Right.
it.
All right, bet. So, obviously, we know it was New Year's, it was Christmas. You went to California. I just chilled at the house. I don't know what y'all just did,
I was
Nothing.
but you went to Florida.
I went to Florida.
Yeah, you went to Florida. So, what did everybody do for the holiday break? Did you go see Star Wars? I mean, we could be talking forever about Star Wars, but so let's not even do that today. What did y'all do over the break? Let's start with you, Fallen Marvel, because what did you do over the break?
Honestly, the biggest thing I did do was Star Wars. I didn't really do anything too crazy, anything like that. So it was just kind of like, I don't know. I was kind of in like Scrooge/Grinch mode this holiday season. So it's just like I was kind of like at that point where I just wanted the holidays to just be over. So like honestly, the only significant thing I did was see Star Wars. That was about it.
I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's not really a bad thing. Let's see. Dido and I, we stayed at home. I just chilled. We of course we went to see Star Wars. Saw The Witcher. The Witcher was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was good.
I mean, dude, I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it 2 times already. Like I've streamed through the entire series
really?
2 times. Yes,
Wow.
that's how good that shit is. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like I love that. I love that series.
really
It's a
like it.
crime. It's a crime that I have to wait until 2021 to get some more because I want it now.
The end of this year? It's gonna be next year.
Next year.
Oh.
Next year. Yeah. No. So you feel my pain. So.
And you know the thing that bothers me about that is that I can compare that show to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, me too.
But
better Game of
normies, yeah,
Yes.
I think it's better than Game of
Yes.
Thrones because first off, it's not so many focus. You have basically 3 people that they're focusing a story
Correct.
on, not 12 like
Right.
Game of Thrones or
Right.
whatever. And they do a very good job at it. You want to see titties? They got titties in it. They got freaking violence in it. They got all that stuff.
Better violence than Game
Yeah,
of Thrones.
better violence. But I bet you it's not going to be the talk of the town because normies are not watching it.
No,
It's
no,
always- people
no, it
are
was
watching
like,
it.
No, it was like the most streamed, show.
That may be true, but if it was on HBO, it probably would have been 10 times
okay,
more.
yeah,
than
it probably-
that.
it probably
half
is.
the
The
population
normies
have
be
Netflix
talking
anyway
about
for the
it.
most part.
I mean, a lot of people do have Netflix,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of people in the know that watch it. There could be millions. If the video games sell millions of copies, right? Just those people who like the video games are gonna watch the show,
Right.
So then people who know about the books are gonna watch the show. So that could be a couple million, maybe. I'm just throwing numbers out there,
Right.
So and then you have a few people that's interested. That still doesn't even come close. Man, I heard normies, people that never watch fantasy, none of this stuff talking about Game of Thrones. Come on now, this woman I work with for the life of me cannot watch anything that's not outside of her her thing, like dramas, anything with Oprah in it, stuff like that. And she loved watching Game of Thrones.
So she stays in her wheelhouse. Is that what you're trying to say?
Stays in what house?
She stays in her wheelhouse. Like she
Basically,
only watches what
she
what
basically
likes to
only
watch.
watches certain
unless
things.
it's like a
But she
super
can't-
popular show that people are talking about.
She can't
Okay.
watch things like her imagination is not there. She
Oh,
tries
okay,
to
I
watch
got you.
stuff like her son is like us.
Yeah.
And he tries to get her to watch these things.
Right.
It's like I just can't watch. I can't get into it. I'm just
Yeah,
like
like you said, she has no imagination.
Yeah,
Was there any Starbucks cups in there?
That's petty.
Starbucks.
That's petty as hell.
Right.
That's petty as hell.
Oh, yeah, plus, on top of that, with Witcher, you also got the Cavalites that'll probably watch it
Yeah,
because of him.
and-
Oh, Campbell was fucking awesome.
So
dude.
basically, he
was-
just
was
reinvented
incredible.
his whole career.
I wouldn't say that, man.
I
He
mean,
was already a really good actor.
wouldn't
I
say
mean,
that.
what I'm saying, I guess since the whole Superman thing died out and not really.
That's not his fault.
I
Can't
know it's
nobody
not his
blame him
fault,
for
but
that.
I'm saying, but like, he's got a whole franchise about to blow. It's
Oh,
already
yeah,
blown up right now, so they
absolutely.
already greenlit season 2 and 3. So
Well, here's the thing. He's got time to do both. It's just a matter of is he going to be interested in doing both if they keep dragging their feet. Because being realistic, they only got 2 movies coming out this year. And the next movie is going to be Black Adam the following year. So 2021, it's like, are you freaking serious? This is the next time you're going to
Right,
pick up
because
and do
everything
anything?
else that they even talked about, they don't even have dates for. So it's
Right.
like,
they don't know that.
it's like, yeah, Flash still doesn't have a date, and they said
Correct.
that that's or whatever. We don't we recently got news that Blue Beetle is going to have a series, and I don't know if they're even still doing the movie or not.
on HBO instead of DC
yeah.
Universe.
Right.
Yeah, doesn't that tell you something?
HBO Max, right?
Doesn't that tell you, yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't that tell you something?
Wait, so you got your own channel to do stuff, any content, and you go to HBO. Okay.
Yeah,
It's like, what's the point of
Pretty
DC
much.
Universe?
right.
Which is weird,
Exactly.
but hey, there you go. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
That
That's
is
what
weird.
they
So
want to do.
No,
Whatever.
this is Warner all over again. Anyway, let's enough about that because we could be.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, you went to Florida, hang out with the family. What's up, man? Well, how was things?
It was fun. It definitely fun. My brother, we had, because what happened was I flew to South Carolina because he lives there, and we drove 5 hours to Orlando. And it was so much traffic, like crazy traffic. Everybody's going to Disney World. So we ended up, time kept passing by. We ended up picking my mother up from the airport, and then we went to the house. But before we left, we had got all the some alcohol, basically.
Of course.
So with the
Of course.
Costco, me and my
Damn
brother,
nuts.
he bought like 6 huge bottles of vodka. We went through that.
Jeez,
Oh,
dude.
man.
The last day is probably that much vodka left because we went through that. Yeah, it was fun times. Then a couple
Wow.
of bottles of Hennessy was there. We cooked a lot, spent like a lot of groceries. Yeah, it was fun. Mom was happy to see me.
All right, so in the chat, you're just talking about what's going on in 2020. John P is we are in the year 2020. Yes, really, we are. John
Yeah.
and Tony no, Tony Young.
I was like,
He,
okay, I saw you.
he's going to say The Witcher is everything Thrones was and more. And when I say that's agreed 100%. And then Harl Schmo, DC is brainstorming how to bring Superman to this younger generation. They don't need to brainstorm too much. They have the perfect Superman. They just need to take a story from the comics, adjust it a little bit for the movie.
A good one.
A good one,
A good one.
and put it out there. Don't try to friggin' throw spiders in it. I'm gonna say that all the time because Kevin Smith. Don't try to friggin' turn them to Batman. Don't make them dark. They know who Superman is. There's people out there that know who Superman is, how to write it. It's not rocket science. If one comic book company can do it, another comic book company can do it.
Apparently, to Warner Brothers, this is the most complex formula on Earth.
It is.
Anything outside of Batman, it takes a doctorate, a PhD, in order to actually do it right.
Well,
Because
it's because the character again is
shit,
he's
here
an
we go.
overpowered
Here we
character.
go. Yeah.
He is OP, but they can
you can still
figure
make
out
him
how to do it.
relatable.
But no,
Yes.
it's hard to do.
How to do
Here-
it in the comics, though?
Make him human.
Because the comics is like you can write and do basically whatever you want. And again, he was a prototype. He was an archetype. He was the first of that type of hero ever.
Right.
So anything you throw on him is accepted because it's like, okay, well, whatever. This is just who he is. Batman comes along and is a regular dude who freaking
plays a dude.
with
Right.
a
Plays
bunch
the
of
dude.
fucking money now. Come on.
Again, regular dude in the sense of he's not an alien that comes in with guaranteed powers right off the bat because the sun shines on him. He had to work for what he has.
You know what's going to happen, though, right?
What's
So
that?
the Daredevil.
Well, yeah. But you know what's going to happen, right? Because the Joker did so well in the box office, and now Joaquin Phoenix won a Golden Globe and is probably going to be up for an Oscar. That's going to be the future of DC movies
All right,
somehow.
so the next movie is gonna be called Kal-El. We're gonna get Kal-El, and and basically
It's not
what we're
going to be
get-
Cal-El. It's going to be Lex Luthor. They're going to take a Lex
they
Luthor
probably
movie
will.
that
Yes,
has
I can
nothing
see
to do
that.
with Superman.
I
His
can see
rise.
that.
He's going to go to school. He's going to go to Ivy League
Yes.
school, show how smart he
Yes.
is.
Well, no, they can't do that now. Well, I mean, unless they want to go separate, because
So-
apparently Lex Luthor from Batman v Superman was his dad was used to make him walk around in parades and eat stale crackers and shit. So that's
Isn't that
just
Ferris Bueller's Days Off?
you said what?
That's basically Ferris Bueller's Days Off.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, they get because no. Here's the thing: they're gonna do a Kal-El movie. It's gonna be based off of Superman Red Sun, and we're just gonna have to sit through that.
You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna be like, "Hey, man, let's just give me an Injustice Superman movie." They tried that with Batman vs Superman, right? But basically,
They tried that for half a minute.
But that's all you ever hear people say. It's like, just do Injustice Superman. That's what I want to
They
see.
haven't earned
I'm like,
that,
come
though.
on,
No,
they
you
haven't
can't
earned
do
it
that.
yet.
Yeah,
They
you can't do
haven't.
that. Anyway,
They haven't.
Anyway,
because-
let's get back on track.
But
Let's get back on track.
yeah.
let's
I
get
was
back
going
on
to say that.
So you went to California. Your yearly sojourn to California.
California's great.
Yeah. So what was in California? What'd you do?
Well, I went to Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge is awesome. It's all sorts of fun. I, went shopping as I always often do. Got a lot of stuff. Got technically 3 boxes plus my suitcase stuff worth of stuff. And that cost a lot to bring back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Galaxy's Edge. People are like, "Oh, Disney is messing up Star Wars and they're killing my childhood." This is like, okay, unless you suck and don't own the original trilogy on some form of media,
Right.
it's still there. Now, granted, would I like more OG trilogy stuff at the park? Sure, but at the same time, the generation that this is basically kind of appealing to is growing up with Rafe and Poe and all of those characters. So if they focus on that, it's because, damn it, that's where the future of their money is.
Correct.
Is in this particular
That's right.
trilogy that they're dealing with.
Right.
There's OG trilogy stuff in there. The Millennium Falcon, full size, full scale, is freaking awesome. There's the legacy lightsabers you can buy with like Vader's and Obi-Wan's and Darth Maul's and some of the other stuff. So it's like they're bridging the gap between the two. And then also I think a California Adventure or whatever, Star Tours is OG trilogy stuff.
Right.
So it's like, it's still there.
Wait a
It's
minute.
just
Is that Star Tours the same one that used to be at Epcot?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think it's the same thing.
Okay, yeah, I
I
remember I
didn't
did
go
on that
to it, but like it still exists. So it's like It's like both of them are there. It's just the one that they're pouring their money into, and for the experience is more geared towards the generation of now. So I have no problem with that. And it's fun. I enjoyed it.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, that was really dope. All right, bet. So let's move on. Obviously, this show is supposed to be about the best of the decade, back from 2010 to 2019. I put out a poll on culturejunkies.net. If you haven't been to the new culturejunkies.net, I urge you to go there now. Go ahead and click that little notification bell so you can see when I'm posting new articles and stuff like that. But we did a poll asking you to pick the best 3 of the various categories that we're kind of interested in, that you're all interested in, whether it be comics, movies, games, TV shows, and anime. They're all in there. So Dido's got the results up on the screen right now, so I want him to go down the line, and we'll start with anime because there's very interesting results in anime. So Dido, I want you to go for the best of the best in 20 as voted on by you, Culture Junkie Nation. This is the best of the best that you guys voted on right now. So give them the list.
Alrighty, best anime of the tens decade. Is that what we're calling it? Tens?
Yeah. I mean, the tens decade.
Tens.
Yeah. So what was what were the choices?
The choices we got is Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, Sword Art Online, Dragon Ball Super, Naruto Shippuden, Hunter x Hunter, and no, it's not Hunter x Hunter, it's Hunter x Hunter.
Because that's what I call it all the time.
Yeah, it's Hunter x Hunter. The X is silent. ReZero, Seven Deadly Sins, and One Punch Man. And the best anime that you guys out there picked for 2010
that
to
was the top 3.
2020.
So basically,
we're going to tell the top 3.
Okay.
The best one. Oh, you want to start at the bottom?
Start at the bottom. Yeah, start at the bottom.
You want to start at the bottom?
Yeah.
All right. So
start at the bottom of the top 3. Yeah.
The bottom of the top 3 is Attack on Titan, and Sword Art Online, and Naruto Shippuden, and One Punch Man, and Seven Deadly Sins, and ReZero. They all got 9% of the vote. The second is Hunter x Hunter, and the number 1 is My Hero Academia, which I really like and have enjoyed this season. I just started watching it, and I'm behind on it on purpose because I hate watching week to week. So I'll just, I watch one episode every day at work.
Right.
But I'm behind on purpose because it just gives me something to look forward to.
Okay. So out of all those votes, how much did Dragon Ball get?
0%. Nobody voted for Dragon Ball Super.
Come on.
I'm very much surprised in that because Dragon Ball Super is probably the best series of Dragon Ball so far. I mean, look, Dragon Ball, from Dragon Ball to Super, has always been good when you have fighting. When it's the filler, of course, is garbage. The Cell Saga was pretty good. Buu Saga, they didn't really need to do that. It kind of got out of hand after a while. Before that was just before he got super power. Frieza's stuff was good. It was really like nostalgic for us now. But watching where Goku first turned Super Saiyan, that was kind of cool. But to see Goku and Vegeta, they're not really learning anything new. They're almost, I would say, at the top of their game. Goku did kind of learn something in Super. Spoiler alert: Ultra Instinct. He doesn't know how to use it. Is that really a spoiler, though, now? I mean, some people may not have watched it because 0% voted for it. So apparently not enough people watched it.
It took almost 20 years for damn Goku to go Super for the first time.
Yeah, but just seeing him, like, damn near at the top of his game doing stuff was kind of cool. And that Jiren fight, come on now.
That was one of the best fights.
Still didn't win.
That was one of the best fights they have ever done. Like, that one was really, really good.
Yeah, even with Ultra Instinct, he did not win.
Like, that was the first time I've ever seen people say, like, openly root for Goku to lose, like, because they thought Jiren was that badass. Like,
Jiren has no character.
No, he doesn't. He is a one-dimensional character, most definitely. Yeah. They may do something with him later because the manga is still going on, and they are learning new stuff. Yeah. I don't know if Jiren is in it or not, but I heard little things about Vegeta and whatnot.
Yeah, that's stuff's interesting. So what was the next? What's the next choice?
Next category is television. TV for those out there who don't know how to spell.
Live television.
And my categories or the shows are This Is Us, Game of Thrones, Daredevil, and I would have put more of those Marvel shows in there, but regardless, Stranger Things, American Horror Story, Black Mirror, Steven Universe, and for those who have not watched Steven Universe, that's a really goddamn good show. I watched it, except for the last season, because they still haven't put it on Hulu, and I don't know why, because I think it's over. Anyway, Westworld, The Expanse, and Legion.
Now I'd be surprised in the top 3. I'd be absolutely shocked. 1, if Game of Thrones is not in it. 2, if Steven Universe isn't in it, or if you know what? I'd be shocked if This Is Us makes the list. Only because we know our audience. They probably wouldn't be picking for it. But it was like, considered
Very
one of
popular
the,
show.
Yeah, very popular.
The woman
show.
I was telling you about, she
Yeah.
watches This Is
Oh, of course, of course. All right, so what's the results?
All right.
Bottom 3.
All right.
All right,
So
going from
the
bottom.
the third one is Steven Universe, and it has 8% of the votes. Surprise, surprise.
I mean,
All right,
I'm
all right.
not really surprised. Yeah.
We had a 3-way tie again, and that's for number 2
Uh-huh.
with 17% of the vote.
Damn.
Daredevil, Stranger Things, and Black Mirror,
Facts.
all on Netflix, and they were all pretty good. I liked them all.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, number 1 with 42% of the vote is Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
That was like an easy slam dunk for
Yeah,
the Thrones.
yeah, it kinda was, yeah.
'Cause I guess I never watched Westworld. People told me Westworld was actually pretty good until like the 3rd season, and it dropped off. And just like, well, I guess I don't want to watch it. And then The Expanse and Legion. I wanted to watch Legion, but didn't.
I'm trying to get into The Expanse because I know as they moved to Amazon Prime, they left Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
4th season.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I put that.
Well, look,
in my
Sci-Fi
list. I haven't
Channel,
watched it.
they have a tendency to do their shows dirty. Like, they cancel them way too early. So, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
love Sci-Fi Channel what they're doing, but they
Right.
just keep on doing nonsense.
All right, so what's next on the list?
Next on the list was movies. And there were so many movies that came out in the last 10 years, and
Dude.
we only had so much space, so these are the ones that we picked. We're going to go Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Mad Max Fury Road, Get Out, Logan, John Wick, Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse, Fast 5, The Avengers, and this is the first Avengers game, not Endgame, not Infinity War. Definitely not Ultron, Age of Ultron.
Definitely not. So out of those 3, which
Oh, no,
one do you
got one,
think
two
you guys
more.
would be like?
Two
oh,
more.
Okay. Oh, 2 more.
Inception,
Uh-huh.
and I also like that movie a lot. And Black Panther.
Like, out of all those, which ones do you guys think like would be the ones at the top? Like, outside of Avengers, I think Avengers is probably in the top. But outside of those, which ones could you easily see being in the 3?
What was it? Let me say this again.
The
Well,
list
John
again.
Wick is probably on that because John Wick
Captain America.
probably caught a lot of people
Probably.
off guard.
Uh-huh. I agree.
John Wick brought back the action movies from the late 80s
Yeah,
and 90s.
they were kind of almost dying / dead.
Yeah.
But
But it brought it
Yeah,
back.
Yeah.
they were like all but like on. They pretty much all on life support until John Wick came along.
Right. What
Fast
were you gonna
5 might even be in there in a weird way because it was the first one that started that off, and that's the one that brought The Rock into it.
Brought back the
You
franchise.
know, to
Yeah.
some people, but I don't know. Like that's like, it might be for some folks. I know, like looking back on the movie, like I wouldn't put it in like my top. Like I don't know. I think like I've just sort of just had my fill of the Fast series now. So I just.
Well, you can say that now. I mean, I get it. You can say it now, but like back then, no.
Back
I was done
then,
after
like
2.
I mean, even then, back then, like I thought it was cool, but like it's just
Right.
like I just liked it for what it was, but like I wasn't like a big diehard fan of it or
Right.
nothing like that.
Right.
I'm not the fault for your propaganda over there, Ken Sherrill.
What?
Listen.
What?
I was done at the 2.
That's your
Simple as
fault.
that.
Which one? Fast?
Hell yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
that's
Fast
your
and
fault.
Furious,
Yeah,
How's that my
Roman
fault?
Pierce.
The other ones were terrible.
Well, part
What?
2.
Man, you out your
Roman-
mind.
Roman
Hold on.
Are you crazy?
See, the thing is, he didn't watch them. Part 1 was great. It was just a remake of freaking Point Break. It was good. Liked it.
That's all you need.
much.
That's all you need.
But part 2, I don't know what the hell they were going at.
I don't
Part
know what they were
3,
doing.
they
See, that,
part 3 was
that,
like,
part 2 was like the more commercial success one.
yeah.
Like,
Like
that was
how?
that
But I don't even see how.
What it
Like
was,
how?
No, because
Because
what
they
it was.
started adding like Tyrese
Speak
was in
on
it,
it.
they threw Ludacris in it.
Well,
they had like
not
all
even
these
just
other
that. It
upcoming
was the
rappers
fact that
in
the
it.
first one was the first one was almost in a sense a fluke because it was like
Yeah.
it was just like you said, it was a Point Break light remake, and then you had It's like, okay, where the hell did this movie come from? And
Right.
why is this movie so much fun?
Right.
The second one was directed by John Singleton, and it was like the feel of it just didn't make any damn sense.
No, it didn't. That's
So
It felt more commercial.
so.
Like,
I mean,
it
I
felt
don't
more
blame you for being done after 2, because 2 could turn you off. I get it.
100%.
2 could
Three
turn you
could
off.
definitely turn
3
you off.
could turn
Three
you
was
off.
definitely.
3
Like,
had
I don't think
nobody
the game
in
I
it.
do, but 3
That
definitely
at
was
the
about to
very
put me
end.
off the
Yeah,
series.
but 5 was the truth,
5
dude.
was when it brought it back up. Seriously, 5
5
is when it
was the
started.
truth.
I
started
was,
making it.
I
Kid
was
you not.
watching it for The Rock. That was it.
Did you watch it?
That's
I
what
did.
a lot of
No,
reasons.
what's the one we saw
That was
together?
one of the main reasons.
It wasn't
people went to
5.
No, it was like, was it 7?
6? No, I didn't see 7.
hold on, as a group.
Yeah.
Didn't we see the
Might
last
have
one?
been, might have been Mega Sean.
As
Me
a
and him
group,
saw it.
yeah, about to say as a group we went to go see 6
6?
because that's when Statham showed up at the end
So
of the movie.
Yeah,
what was the one when
had
they
to go
jumped the
peeing at this.
Lamborghini to the
yeah,
building?
Yeah, that was 7.
No,
I
that
saw
was,
That was 7.
yeah, that was,
I was done. I was like, what?
They start getting crazy.
Oh,
They start
that
getting
was
crazy.
seven.
but-
Oh, 5 is when they
no,
started
no,
getting
that was
ridiculous.
7.
5 was when they got ridiculous.
So hear me out.
They
Yeah,
didn't get
all right,
You can
all right.
jump building the building. Damn it! I want another speed race with a Mach 5 jumping with shit like that.
Bruh, yes.
Come
You
on
know
now.
I
what?
hear you.
Come on.
To be honest, Speed Racer to me was a very underrated movie.
I think it was
that
too.
movie did not go as appreciated.
Visually,
I think a lot
that
of
shit
Visually
was
was
incredible.
It's incredible.
This shit was incredible.
I think they just
visually.
had maybe wrong casting, maybe certain stuff.
I didn't have an issue with the cast.
John Goodman as Pops.
Besides John Goodman, I
No,
mean, it
no,
was,
no. And Christina Ricci as Trixie. This shit was money. Are you kidding?
I don't know. I didn't have much of an issue with the casting in the movie.
Yeah.
I was fine.
I was
for the
never a
most
fan of the show, so
Yeah.
So
All right.
Anyway, so what was the results? Anyway.
Results are the third
Yeah.
that came in, as you guys voted, is with 11%, John Wick.
Still up in the
All right.
That's a little surprising. Little surprising.
Yeah, and the number 2 is a 3-way tie. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse,
Uh-huh.
The Avengers,
What?
and Captain America Winter Soldier.
not
Marvel sitting in
surprised.
second place.
And now see.
Yep.
Not surprised.
Okay, I can accept that. Okay.
And then, number 1, what you guys out there in the Culture Junkies have picked, Black Panther is the number 1.
What?
20,
It's the
Wakanda
best
forever.
of the decade.
22%.
Wakanda forever.
You know what?
the
I-
vote.
I-
Best of the decade, though, man.
I
Come
don't
on.
necessarily agree, but I'm not mad at it.
Come on, now. I'm not
I don't-
mad, but
I don't necessarily agree, but I'm not mad at it.
best
I'm
of
not
the
mad at it.
decade. Black Panther, best of the decade.
You know how many
think-
people stop saying the
Like,
N-word for that
I
whole
will
month?
say this. I will say this.
That's
Black
true.
Panther, I think, is probably the first movie I've seen in theaters I've seen the absolute most. I think like I broke my record watching that movie, as far as like continuous views.
What's your
So,
record?
Yeah, what is your record?
But for me, it's 5. For me, it's 5.
Okay.
Novice.
Yeah, I don't because
Broke that scene in Infinity War. Come on now.
I'm not hardcore like that, but yeah, like 5 is my record so far.
Man, I did 9 of Transformers, the movie, the original animated movie.
Yeah.
Buddy.
How many times we
Yeah,
saw
She was good,
Endgame?
buddy.
I saw Endgame exactly 9. I
Yeah.
refuse to let anybody break Transformers' record.
We
I
saw
will tie it
3
up.
times.
Yeah.
I'll tie it up multiple times,
Right.
but nobody. It would literally take, Avengers versus X-Men to make me, and it'd have to be absolutely perfect to make me go see it 10 times.
Okay.
It
All
would
right.
take that.
Now look. Black Panther, no doubt a phenomenon, right? Complete phenomenon. Like nothing we've ever seen before. It was the first Marvel movie. My mom said, "I really want to go see that." Like,
My mom too.
and she enjoyed it. Outside of just even the African garb and all that. African name was so African, Africa centered, but she enjoyed it just for what it was. And normally she she kind of makes fun of superhero stuff and all this other kind of stuff, but she enjoyed it. So, but best of the decade.
Well, from a cinematic standpoint, it represents something that most people never thought that they would live to see. A movie of that status, that caliber, that much money behind it, being done with a basically 95-97% black cast. That again, you even go back to stuff like Coming to America, going back to stuff like Harlem Nights. Those movies, again, very Afrocentric, but at the same time, gangster movie, parody of African royalty, essentially. This one was like, look, this dude is a king, you know, becoming a king or whatever. These Africans are an advanced tech, you know, advanced nation, advanced, you know, again, there was no like tongue-in-cheek, wink, like, yeah, they're great. It's like, no, they're great, period. That's what it is.
Right.
Here it is. This is what, you know, take it or leave it, basically. So I think from a cinematic standpoint, that's the first time that has ever been done on that level.
Okay. I can accept that.
So I think that's why it was such a cultural, you know, phenomena, because it's like, damn it, we finally getting some actual respect in these films. Because every time, think about it, every other thing that it got any notoriety for, 12 Years a Slave. Okay, slavery thing again.
Yeah.
Training Day. Okay, black people being freaking obnoxious, crazy gangsters,
right.
you know, bad cops, whatever. Denzel gets an Oscar. Monsters Ball. Oh, Halle Berry's getting, you know, banged on the couch by Billy Bob Thornton.
Like a crackhead.
Right. Okay. Well, cool. All right. So give her an Oscar. It's like okay. That's
but it's. I mean, you laughing, but it's the truth.
Right. So it's like if that's it's the truth though. So it's like if that's the track record. Now it's like, no, skip that, dude. They are a nation of an advanced technology nation. You know, better than the rest of the world, basically. Right. So here it is. There's no in jokes. There's no. This is what it is. Boom. Here you go. And he's extremely important.
Right.
In this particular universe that you're watching. So it's like
richest fictional character.
Period.
Right.
Period.
So.
All right. So what's next?
Next is video games, my favorite, but I have to say, unfortunately for me...
how many of the games on the list have you played?
I played Fortnite, I played Minecraft, and I played Super Mario Odyssey, and I played PT, but I wouldn't call that a game, but it is on the list.
Okay,
but all the rest of them I have not played yet, but I got it. Got it. Haven't played.
I love it. What's the number of these?
Here we go. God of War, the PlayStation 4 version, not the one from that might have been before the 10s of PlayStation 2, but of course. So that one.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 5. The Witcher 3. Fortnite. Ugh.
I feel you.
Sorry. I mean, it's popular.
Megashaw might hurt you.
It's making money and it's fun. People have fun. I have a problem with it because I don't like you can't respawn. I don't like that you're trying to find somebody, they pop you off, and then you're done. Like, oh my gosh. So it's just, that's not fun for me. Regardless of that. Going back to it. Minecraft. I know a lot of people had that. One of my cousin's kids wanted me to play Minecraft with him, and I was just like, I don't own it. Sorry. That's one again. I actually bought it for 10 cents on my phone eventually. It was 10 cents. I'm like, shit, why not buy it?
Exactly.
Red Dead Redemption. Haven't played that one, and I don't own it. Ooh.
What?
Nope, don't have it. I've been wanting to get it, but like
only played 10% of the
the first one.
The first one.
Yeah, I wanted to get it, but I was waiting for like the Game of the Year version, and then I just haven't picked it up. Maybe I'll pick it up in the future. Probably will. Telltale's The Walking Dead.
Excellent.
Haven't played that one, but I did play the Wolf Among Us. I like that one a lot.
Dude, that Walking Dead game was
Classic.
I think
unbelievable.
I have it,
dude.
but I just haven't played it. Sorry.
Come on, man.
It sucks sometimes.
Even
played
I
the game
played that
twice.
One. Come on now.
PT, which was supposed, it was
a playable trailer.
I have
Yeah,
never
playable trailer.
Never
What the fuck
seen
is
a
PT?
trailer. What?
PT.
Oh yeah, this guy
It's
lives
supposed to
on
be
Xbox.
Silent-
That's right.
Silent
It's supposed to be
Hills.
Silent
Dude,
Hill.
you love horror?
Yeah.
This shit was the wildest shit ever,
Just
dude.
for a demo, it was
For
freaking
the
awesome.
demo, it was the
Listen,
wildest shit ever.
I checked out. The thing is, I watched somebody play it. The thing is, I was done with that game the moment I saw a talking fetus in the bathroom. I was done. I was done.
Get on your YouTube.
And pull that shit
Yeah,
up.
yeah, and
'cause
just
you can't
do a
download it
playthrough
anymore.
because
They pulled
they
it.
pulled
that-
it.
oh,
Yeah, like
really?
Konami killed it.
I have it on my PlayStation 4, but
It was that bad?
no.
It was
Hideo Kojima.
No, it was
did
just
Konami, and then he left,
Like, Konami just
and they
canceled
yanked it. Yeah.
Got you.
But the thing is, Dido actually told me to download it. He was like, you got to check this out. And I downloaded it, and I think like a couple of days later, that's when they had pulled it. Now, the thing is, if you downloaded it, and that was a funny thing, it was a phenomenon where people were selling PlayStations that had it downloaded on it for like $1,500 because people wanted to play the thing.
Yeah.
But it was like, as long as you've downloaded it in your library at some point, because when I got my PS4 Pro, I put it on that one too. I was like, skip it, I'm gonna put this thing on multiple things.
Right.
So it was, I do have it on 2 systems.
Yeah.
But that thing is
It was
amazing.
like literally, I had it, right? I didn't expand my storage or anything, but I had it on mine, and to get some more room, I deleted it. Now I meant to go back and get it, by the time I went back, they were like, "Oh, you can't get it no
can't get
more."
it
I'm
no
like,
more.
"Fuck, dude."
Yeah, the only way you can get is if you have it on one of your systems, and then you're doing that transfer basically.
Yeah,
Right.
because that's
And
what
that's
I
why I
did. I
was able to keep
transferred
it
to
on
a bigger
both.
hard drive.
Yep.
Right.
Excuse me.
All right. So what's the result?
Almost done. Not done yet. Still got two more
yeah,
games.
okay.
Super Mario Odyssey, and I did play that, and I beat it. So, Nick. And
Did you get perfect on?
no, I didn't get all 999
Perfect.
moons yet, so I can go back and get them. I want to. That's something I would go back and do because that's replay value. And I
Maybe
like
when
that.
you're finally done with Binding of Isaac, huh?
I'm never gonna be done with Binding of
see,
Isaac,
see, yeah,
but
so I
I'm
thought
gonna be. I'm still trying to play Metroid Other M. So,
Okay.
gosh, 2010. Anyway, and Resident Evil 2 remake, which
Fire.
woo, is good. So, what we have here for the third, number 3 is also a tie. It looks like it's a 3-way tie. No, 4-way. 4-way tie with 9% of the vote. God of War,
Okay.
Telltale's Walking Dead,
Please tell me PT's on.
PT, and Super Mario Odyssey.
All right. I would have been really disappointed if PT was not on there.
Yeah.
I'm almost
And,
surprised Resident Evil 2 isn't higher.
No, that's
Oh,
not
no,
done yet.
No,
That's
that's
about
number
three.
3.
That's
That's
about
number
three.
3. That was
Okay.
the 3. It was
All
a
right.
4-way tie.
Uh-huh.
Number 2 is a 2-way tie with 18% of the vote. We got GTA 5 and The Witcher 3.
Now, I'm a little surprised. Well, no. I kind of thought GTA 5 just because of how
Yeah, that shit ain't going on.
unbelievable. Like
that's
the
stand
shit
power.
is like, dude, Rockstar had that shit on full price for like what 5 or 6 years.
That's why I didn't buy it.
Like, come on.
I think
They'd
it
have to
finally
change
went
it.
down
Yep.
went down in price maybe about 3 years ago.
Right.
Maybe. That's why I didn't buy it.
Well, part of the reason for that was, again, the game was huge to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
It started off on PS3 and Xbox 360, got ported over to the the next generation of systems with a true visual upgrade. So that was a big check mark on their side. And then on top of that, its online is an enduring monster.
It's unbelievable how that shit is going.
Yeah.
I don't play GTA 5, but it's amazing to me what they've done with that game. It's amazing.
All the mods and whatnot.
Yeah, all the mods. I mean, just
That
even
shit's insane.
the expanse of the world. Like all the mods that they've done, like even putting the Hulk in there. They put the Flash in there. They put Superman. I think all the mods that they've done. People have made little mini movies using
Yeah,
the GTA
yeah.
5 engine. This shit is it's
couldn't get
amazing.
into it.
It is amazing. It's absolutely
Not
amazing.
only that, just on top of that, you still have the fact that they just recently released another online expansion.
Yeah.
So that thing is almost becoming the Sims of like the open world, crime simulator.
Staying power.
Yeah,
It's unbelievable.
That game is so we're not gonna see 6 until probably the second year of the new generation of the systems.
Right.
Probably.
More
Or
than
they
likely,
port
yeah.
GTA 5 to those.
Right.
Right. It had to be the
Like,
first
it's
game
like,
to ever cross 2
Can
generations.
you? How would
completely.
you hate to be Rockstar and you have to start over after that shit?
Yeah,
and
honestly,
like bring
where
out
do you
something
go?
new. Yeah.
Where do you go
Look,
from
that's
How
how
do you top that?
Rockstar like only comes out with games like every like 3
they don't-
every
they don't-
3 to 6 years.
Well,
That's-
realistically, Red Dead Redemption is their midpoint game. Like Red Dead Redemption
Yeah.
2 being so huge coming out was like kind of the okay, we're gearing up to probably work on GTA 6 now. But like, yeah, that is
we
the
won't
good
see it
question.
for
Like,
another
where
2
do-
years.
Well, I mean, who knows? Because I think GTA 5 works so well because I guess it's set basically in California, regardless. But it's like you got all that space to work with. They've already done New York. They've already done Miami.
Right.
So where else do you go for the next one? Because
Detroit.
they'll never come to Detroit.
Detroit.
Entire
Detroit.
world is at your
Detroit
oyster.
got what was that? Midnight Club 3, the dub edition. That's the only shine that Detroit's ever got in the video game.
Tokyo Midnight Club? Really?
Was
Wasn't
it
that game
Tokyo
Detroit
Midnight?
based in Detroit? The human
Yeah,
game?
Midnight Club. That's what it was
Detroit,
called.
yeah,
Midnight
Detroit
Club.
Becoming Human was basically
Detroit Becoming Human. We got
Based in an idealized Detroit.
future
Right.
Detroit.
Like RoboCop.
Wasn't True Crime?
no, beyond
wasn't one
that,
of
way
those
beyond
games
that.
in Detroit?
What was that? What was that?
True crime.
I said
don't know.
wasn't one of those True Crime games in Detroit? I thought.
I don't.
Not that I recall.
I don't recall.
I know there was one game that came out that was like true to life Los Angeles. Like all the streets and all the locations were real. Like for the most part, that might have been one of the true crime games. But yeah, realistically, Detroit's from just a geographic standpoint isn't a big enough city to do that type of game anyway. it's a big city, but as far as like clusters, like
Yeah,
GTA
no, I get
has,
you.
you ain't gonna have like what sections are you gonna close off? Okay, you can't go to the bridge to Windsor now. That's about the only way you're gonna be able to have any sections. Like, you know how GTA always does when you first start off.
Yeah.
The only thing you can go to is this little part of whatever. That's what we want you to stay in. Then we'll open up some other sections.
Right.
Man, what you gonna do for Detroit? Oh, you can't go to Belle Isle. You screwed, dog. No, you can't go to Belle Isle yet. We sold out Belle Isle for the second half of the game.
Wow.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm for real.
No, he's right. No, that's funny.
Those games work because like New York is a perfect setup for it. It has the 5 boroughs. You've got like Manhattan. You got like all that stuff you can branch off and lock off. Same thing with like Miami. Well, Miami just works because
It's
Miami
Miami.
Vice.
Yeah.
So
It was
that's
Miami. Like it was
Yeah,
just
Miami.
like all the
Damn,
just all
Detroit
that
get no
down there in the
love, huh?
No,
Keys
they
and
don't.
right.
No, we don't.
Again, there's things that can be done, but for a game of the scale of GTA, Detroit's too small of a city.
All right.
Well, I mean, can they just go out to the suburbs and whatnot too? They
Man, please. That's like going to a whole nother damn city. Man, don't do
They
that.
drive to Ann Arbor
Drive
from Detroit.
past the Palace of Auburn Hills.
Right.
Now, what they could do if they really wanted to really do it, they could have it where like you can work Chicago in there, because Chicago and Detroit from old crime history have a synergy.
Oh yeah,
It was-
what you call it?
was just a purple gang.
If Al Capone didn't have the purple gang standing in his way, he would have set up shop in Detroit. But they pushed him out, and that's why he went to Chicago.
Right, but again, geographically for a game, that's a huge distance.
Right.
Yeah.
They be like, don't
But-
get on 696 during the midday
That ooze,
traffic.
you get that ooze coming out.
Ah, yeah.
696 ooze turning people
Yeah.
into turtles.
The turtles, right. All
All
right.
right, so real quick, let me throw this into the chat to
Yeah.
answer the question that came up back from the Star Wars thing for John P.
What's up?
Yes, I did get the soda brought back with me. Obviously, I drank the soda.
The
but
thermal detonator?
Yeah, the thermal detonator
Yeah.
bottles. Basically, what I did is I packed it into my shipping box that was going to be checked in for my baggage. So that's one way to
Okay.
do it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I think as far as I've heard, the TSA is relaxed their so-called ban on that because of how dumb that is. It's like, dude, first of all, thermal detonators don't exist in real life. Secondly, you can clearly see it's a freaking Coca-Cola or a Sprite or a Diet Coke or whatever. So, whatever.
Okay. So what's the results?
Well, before I get to that last one, because we also have some stuff in the chat of games that should have been on the thing. The Batman Arkham Asylum and or the series.
Yep.
John P mentioned those, and I was like, yeah, that was it brought Batman back into life. You know, it sucks. Bloodborne, which I'm probably the only person here that played Bloodborne, and I beat it. Yeah.
I played it a little bit.
I love Bloodborne, dude. That game is freaking. Once you get in the groove of stuff,
That hard ass game.
it is hard.
Yeah,
like
no,
that
I'm
Sekiro and all that stuff. But when you
know
start
what?
mastering
I
stuff, it's like,
tried
yeah,
that.
you feel.
I tried that game and Neo, and the frustration was just too high for me. I may
Neo,
eventually
I
try
liked,
to go
and
back,
I need to go
but
back and play it.
But
I don't
King Takeem says it's God of War. Sorry, bro. I think you just came in. God of War, unfortunately, is according. And look, this is not us. This is you guys out there who voted for this.
Yep.
That was third place, and the #1 game of the decade is the Resident Evil 2 remake. They got 27% of the vote.
Really?
And remember this, you guys voted on it. When we put this stuff out there, you guys are voting on it, not us. I mean, I guess maybe we did as well.
It's not like I didn't share it, to the fan page with the reposter and remind y'all, hey, go and vote.
Go and vote.
Yeah, one of the things is that's just the staying power of Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of those remakes so far have been amazing, and the fact that they're about to come out with 3.
Nemesis.
Yeah.
Stars.
Well, it's probably easier to
Stars.
do 3 because they already got the engine set up from 2.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the
See,
locales are
hey,
still
look.
similar.
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
All right.
three can
Now,
definitely be
first
fast
of all,
tracked.
look.
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, look, we all know that that's a game that we have to get used to when you first play it. So the thing is, we may know what you can and can't do in that game, but let's be real. Until you get used to everything that's in that game, you know nothing. You know nothing. So that's how I felt playing the second one the past month or so. Like, I avoid everything playing that game, and I thought I had everything down pat. And like, the game has a way of making you feel comfortable and then just really ripping the rug right there.
That's
Mr. X
good.
come out of nowhere.
It's
like
kind
a
of like
bastard.
Resident
Especially
Evil
if
4,
you're
because Resident Evil
just
4
playing.
kind of did
But
that.
that's exactly how 2 is. I'm pretty sure 3 is not going to be any different.
Well, I think what they're probably going to do for 3 is they're going to make 3, if whether or not Nemesis is going to be in it or Mr. X or however they're going to do it.
It's got to be Nemesis.
Well, it better be.
Better
But
be
I think
Nemesis.
what they're going to do is make it more reactive to how you perform in the game. I think if you sit there and try to turtle too much, he's going to be on your ass a lot more than if you're going through running and gunning. And it'll probably be one of those situations that they're counting your ammo. And as soon as you go through running and gunning, you got like 5 shots left. Then you're gonna change that music.
See, but that's the thing,
you're
though.
gonna hear
Even playing that
stars,
game, there is no running and gunning. The thing is that you have to be strategic with everything.
Oh no,
That's
I
all
get
there's
that.
no
I
running
get
and
that.
gunning
But
in
no,
the
back
game.
in the day when you first played Resident Evil, first thing you was doing was shooting every zombie that was in your way.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
It
the
was
reason why.
reflex.
That's the reason why I didn't beat Code
Like in these
Veronica.
Right.
remakes, it's like, no, that's dead. Like,
The reason why I didn't beat Code Veronica was that same reason.
Now you
Yeah.
can just dodge everybody.
No, the first time I started running from stuff is when I came across the first hunter in the first Resident Evil. That's when it was like, oh wait, I can't. Oh wait,
shit.
like, 'cause, I mean, again, and the thing is, they set the stage so well for that encounter because it's like you walking through all that long ass area, you walking through that garden, you walking past that fountain, you going up that slow ass elevator, you getting finally back to the mansion, and they go to this cutscene of like something that did everything you just did in 5 seconds. You just like, wait, hold on,
What?
Like you saw him jump up the elevator shaft. He didn't even like.
Right.
He didn't even get to the elevator. You know, he's like, nope, just gonna jump up real quick, run to the door, and then open the door. And they all polite about opening the doors. They open the door,
Right.
and then they close the door. I was like, come on, every single zombie, every hunter, anything that opens it, they open the door, and then they close it back. I'm like, come on, dude. But yeah, and then that encounter was just like, oh damn, the game just completely changed.
Dude, I think I lost my head the first time that hunter showed up.
Yeah, because they
came
they
through and I
did
ran
a
away
swipe,
and he jumped
yeah.
at me and just took my head
Yeah,
right
and they
off.
just hold
And
it,
they
just be
hold
looking
like,
at it. They're like,
Oh,
Just admire their work.
yeah, when
That's
they
awesome.
did that was like, yeah, this game has completely changed, shifted gears.
Right.
So,
All right, so we got comics is the last
comics,
one, right?
no, wait, is that the last one? Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It's the last one. Comic books for all you guys out there.
Which a lot of
Best
them don't
comics
even read.
of the decade.
A lot of them don't even read it, man, which is damn shame.
It is. It kind of sucks because out of all these, I've only read one comic. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Can you
Nothing
guess which
wrong with
one?
that.
Can you guess which one? Can you guess which one?
You have to
Okay,
give me
here's
the
the
list.
list. The list is Batman Court of Owls. Yeah. House of X, Powers of X.
Nope, you didn't read that.
No, I didn't. Saga.
Nope, you didn't read
And
that.
I wanted to start reading because my buddy had it and he showed it to me, and I may start reading it. Miss Marvel.
Nope, you didn't read that.
Mr. Miracle. Who the hell
Nope.
is Mr. Miracle?
Mr. Miracle.
I know of a Mr. Miracle from like anime. That was that. What was that? That what you call it? Anime with the girls and the running and the stuff.
Mr. Miracle is Big Barda's husband, Scott Free.
dude that lives on Apocalypse.
He lives on Apocalypse. He's a master escape artist.
Oh, okay.
They did a Justice League episode where they
Yeah.
kind of
Sorry.
explained him
Mainstream.
a little
He had that goofy costume.
Right.
bit. Yeah, and then I think Granny Goodness put him in a box or something he had to
Yeah.
escape from.
Matter of fact, ain't his mask like one of those gimp masks? Now you think about it, I think he has a gimp mask on. DC knew what they was doing.
Yeah, because isn't his mask like yellow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know
Yellow and
exactly-
red.
yeah,
Yellow, red,
I
and
know
green. those
exactly
are his
what
colors.
you- yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
They
that
obviously
is
do
technically
weird
And
stuff.
Big
Bondage.
Barda was
Let's be
his
real.
Was his wife?
his mistress, his slave.
Was
She
his
was
wife.
the
Whipping them.
remember like in
Think
People
of
in the
Lashina,
Stairs?
right?
Huh?
Well, Big Barda is a dominatrix fantasy anyway.
Exactly.
Like,
You sure you're not thinking of Lashina?
No, I'm thinking about. I know what Big Barda is. I'm just saying. I'm really putting it together now. He has a gimp mask on.
Yep.
Yeah, no. I mean, dude,
Dead ass.
Jack the King Kirby was he was the man.
I'm
He
getting
created
there,
him.
King. I'm
Yeah.
getting
You know,
there.
you
I'm gonna
created all
read more in
that.
a second.
Anyway,
Go
go
ahead,
ahead.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Alrighty. So
After Mr.
after
Miracle.
Mr. Miracle, we had Sex Criminals.
You read that one.
I did read that one.
That's
I
the
didn't
one.
finish.
I
all
knew
of
he
it,
was gonna
though.
read that. That's
I
the one you
that
read. Yeah.
Somebody gave me the books, and I was just like, "This is very." It might have been you.
She was interesting, dude.
It might have been him. I didn't,
No, I didn't give it to
No,
you.
it might have been you, or it
I
might have
might
been
have
Waffles.
told you about it. It might have been Waffles because I
You
never
might have
read
gave it to
the
me. It
book.
might have been
Yeah.
Waffles. Thor: God of Thunder. And
Very
that
good.
looks like that's with Jane.
that's-
What's her name?
Jane Foster.
Jane
There
Foster.
you go.
Yeah.
Hip Hop Family Tree.
Which they were giving away at Free Comic Book Day a few years ago.
I had to work that day.
Shit is phenomenal.
I'd like to read it because it's not mainstream.
Like, cause the same people that did Hip Hop Family Tree. Did you ever read X-Men Grand Design?
No, I've seen it. I
You've
know.
seen it. Same people that did that did
it's,
Hip Hop Family Tree
I
did
forgot
that.
his name. I follow him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well, we got 2 more. Hellboy in Hell. And
Which I think was the final
Vision.
Hellboy story.
The Vision. Is that the Vision? The Vision that I'm thinking of?
Vision.
The Vision,
Yeah.
he had a family.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
by what was it?
Tom King, same
Tom
people,
King,
same
yeah.
person that did Mr.
Batman.
Miracle.
Oh, he did Batman too, didn't he?
He just finished his Batman run,
Okay, gotcha.
but his first thing was the Vision. Then he went to DC and did Mr. Miracle, and then he got an Eisner Award for that too. And then they were like, okay, we're gonna give you Batman, and then he did this seminal Batman run. You know, so
All
that
right,
he just finished. So what's the
What's
results?
the 7-way tie for 3rd place?
Right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 0% of the votes. You guys out there don't like comics, I guess. That would be the 3rd for Saga, Miss Marvel, Mr. Miracle, Thor, God of Thunder, Hip Hop Family Tree, Hellboy in Hell, and The Vision. None. No votes. 0. So that's technically 3rd.
Technically, okay.
Because the second one was a 2nd place tie, and that was Batman Court of Owls and Sex Criminals.
That's a damn
29%.
I guess the 7-way tie out of the blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really like Sex Criminals. I think that would be a great show to come out on HBO.
No, they've already optioned it. It's supposed to be coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who's going?
I don't know.
Wait, who as a comic company makes Sex Criminals?
That's
Image.
Image isn't. So Image still stands alone on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They
Stronger
put
than
out
ever.
phenomenal shit.
Stronger
and
than
I,
ever.
and I agree. However, how long is it going to take for them to actually get past the option phase?
Option.
Shit.
Oh, that's what it's in right now. That's what it's in right now.
Optioning in Hollywood means that something could be on development hell for the next 30 years.
Oh,
They already had a bunch
depending
of
on the
books.
Basically trying to figure out
Already
like shock
out
to
there.
what studio is going to produce.
Outcast with that
Yeah.
Image book, and of course Walking Dead is an Image book. What is a bunch
Well,
of
Walking Dead got lucky because AMC bought in.
right?
And it was like, we can throw this on TV. It's going to be sweet.
Dude,
Killing.
you saw
I'm
that?
surprised that wasn't on there.
What?
The Walking Dead.
Because isn't who did
It
Preacher?
didn't start in this decade.
Who did
It didn't
Preacher?
start in the last decade. It started in the previous decade.
Oh, okay.
wow.
But
thought it
again,
started-
as far as great TV moments though, Negan beating the hell and crap out of Glenn.
Yeah, the Glenn.
Yeah,
Yeah, that shit was great TV. Go ahead.
Well, the winner,
I already know what the winner is. House of
and
X,
as everybody,
Powers of X.
that's the last one that was on there, is a House of Power, Powers of X. You guys voted 43% of the vote.
Shit is awesome.
And
like
according to what I hear, they said if they're going to start doing mutants in the Marvel MCU,
they need to do that.
they should start with
They
that.
need to
I
do
don't even
that.
know anything
that
about
shit
it.
is
why not?
unbelievable. This shit is great.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, dude. Walking Dead came out 2010. So why that wasn't on there?
It came out the year 2010.
Yeah.
But I guess it wasn't considered like because I pulled the books that I pulled were like pulled from a
I mean, not
bunch
the
of
books.
various.
I mean, like even on the TV show, we did
No.
TV.
No. Oh,
2003,
because you did
bro.
TV.
What?
This is not
Books.
TV. Oh, you're talking about TV.
Yeah, I'm talking about TV. I was
Oh,
like,
okay, you
I
talking
remember
about-
Yeah,
that
but
was
Walking Dead started hot, but it kind of really trailed
It
off.
dropped.
It
big time.
trailed off
When
really
Negan
big.
showed up after the beatdown.
Right. You even know
yeah,
this,
I
man.
know that. Yeah,
yeah,
but
you
I'm
know
saying
this.
though, if we're talking about decade, wouldn't 2010 to 20?
Yeah, but I tried to limit it to the top ones of that decade.
okay, gotcha.
Dude, I would have been there forever. Do you realize how much shit came out last decade?
I know,
lot of
it's
stuff.
crazy. But that would be the most talked about thing, though.
A very lot.
A lot.
But that's still talked about show. Though. That was
Walking
still
Dead
talked-
ended?
Yeah, it
did?
ended.
No,
The
it
show?
It's been
No, the comic
No, the
book
comic
ended.
ended.
I thought the show
Yeah.
ended too.
No, show is
Yeah,
still
Hand
going.
of Omega, be specific.
Yeah, no, the show,
All right,
the show's
so-
still going.
And we
All
left
right,
out.
so that's all the categories. For
Yeah,
the
that's
Yeah.
it.
Came out.
Okay, so season 11 is coming out.
All right, so that was, I want to thank everybody out there that did vote. Hopefully we'll do more polls and stuff like that. And we'll get more opinions. But let's move on to real quick to some next topics. We've been talking for a while. I mean, obviously the show's been going great for our first one back for the new decade, brand new decade. But what was some of your favorite? I can't even see the title card right now. What was some of your favorite moments from this past decade? Well, no, what were the biggest changes from the previous decade to this decade that you guys can remember? Because one of the biggest ones, right, is that it was the advent of cord cutting. Because the rise of streaming apps has gotten so big. Before in the previous decade, it was almost unthinkable. Yeah, you have your streaming apps, but you still kind of had to have cable. In this decade, fuck cable. Who needs it, right? Like literally, some people are saying fuck cable. I could just pay for internet. That's you.
Yeah.
Right. That's you. I pay for my internet. do streaming apps.
That's it.
Like literally, that's it. Or get a Plex server, and you can just do whatever.
Hey man, I still gotta watch some stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Hey
yeah.
man, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
I know, I
we
know.
can talk.
Yeah,
We can
yeah,
talk
yeah.
later. Okay. All right. Anyway, so what was like some of the biggest moments of the decade that y'all biggest changes or the biggest changes from the previous decade to this decade?
Shit.
Like also, I mean, I just talked about streaming apps.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's probably one of the biggest.
well, that's
right?
probably one of the biggest. But obviously, I think from the previous decade, because I think social media has become even more ingrained than it is now. I think the way nerd culture has kind of ascended in the past decade.
It ascended, but it also has gotten tarnished a lot.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Back in the 90s and early 2000s, we were all still nerds, and we used to freaking talk amongst ourselves in groups about who would kick whose ass, Superman or Goku, or what was the best anime, and stuff like that. But it never got to the level of toxicity that you see here. Mainly probably because we not only just friends, but we were like in each other's faces, and nobody was going to be like, I'm going to kick your ass. I mean, that only happened once, but not with you guys. I don't know the guy's name, and that was over.
Was that the anime club?
It was at the anime club, and it was over stupid. It's still Smash for Nintendo 64. I never got so pissed off at somebody talking
Smash,
shit ever in my life, because I was about ready to fight.
Well, he was just talking shit. Was this it?
I do not remember what he said, but I never let nobody get underneath my skin in a video game ever before that. That was like the first time I can remember ever, because I played fighting games in the arcades, I played and stuff, and people were good and they beat my ass, and some of them did talk shit, but I don't know what this guy was doing. He was just pissing me the fuck off, man.
I don't know. I don't remember if I was there or not, but I think what it is I think in a group is like you have to earn the right to talk trash. It's like you can't just come in talking trash.
That might have been it, because he wasn't a regular.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what it
He's
was,
walking in the
because
door
it's
just
like
talking shit. Oh,
yeah, because it's like, to me, it's like talking trash is part of the fun.
Yeah,
it's like
it is.
whatever.
Yeah.
And again, you earn because again, I've known you all of y'all for over 20 years.
Right.
We can talk whatever trash. Y'all know I'm just doing it just
Absolutely.
for the sake of doing
Exactly.
it. It ain't no
Right.
disrespect.
Right.
It ain't whatever.
Right.
It's like, look, damn it, I'm trying to throw you off your game. I'm trying to win. But if you just come into a new group and talk trash, it's like. You might get your ass kicked before you get to the door, man.
Right.
It's like,
Right,
you
because
gotta
it's
know
like,
your boundaries.
dude, it's like, fam, you don't know us like that. What is
Yeah,
right,
what are you
exactly.
doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
calm down. Like,
Right,
get introduced to the group first.
Getting too
Yeah.
But
comfortable.
it's like,
Exactly, and I think
it's
that's
like
what it
everybody's
was.
just so ready to be competitive, and it's just like, dude, like it's levels to this. Chill out. Like,
Right.
Exactly.
But I think that's probably one of the biggest impact of the last 10 years has been the internet and nerd culture, because there's just so much stuff that I personally wasn't aware of, that how people apparently have been acting onto friggin' I hear about people being groped at friggin' anime conventions and stuff like that, and not just men groping women. I hear there's women groping other women and stuff like that, and I'm just like,
Yes.
this stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
I went to anime conventions and I never touched anybody. Well,
Right.
probably because I was too scared to touch anybody, but seriously, I mean, I tell you stories about young Darian that, like, if I could do that shit over,
Dude,
man.
the
it'd be a
Anime
lot of
Central
stuff different.
stories we could just talk about.
Yeah,
The
we can talk
parties
about
that
that
were-
stuff.
that were
The parties
cool,
are
yeah.
great.
The
I
parties
was
are
jealous
great.
to
It's
this
just-
day because I didn't get to go.
I got a different mentality than I have now, and I think I have a lot more confidence than I had when I was 19, 18
Right.
years old.
Yeah.
So it would be different. But just hearing about stuff like that just surprised the living crap out of me now. But you hear about so much of it because of the internet, and I think that's probably been the biggest impact in, like, I don't want to call it a blemish, but it probably can be called one on nerd culture that I don't personally like. That some nerds out there like this. I was like, we were the ones that were being talked about and all this other stuff, and you're gonna start acting like how they act, and that doesn't make no sense to me. But I guess
Crip against crip.
Right.
yeah, it's like that don't make no sense. It's like you're supposed to be, get together in these spaces and be like, I won't say as one, but kind of like it just like
Suppose that brotherly and sisterly
Yeah,
love is
that's-
like it's something is lost.
Right.
yeah,
Like
and I think
behind
the
a
internet
keyboard.
has lots
yeah.
of
That, but at the same time, the internet is a big part of that. Social media is a big part of that, because you realize that there's more of you than you expected. So now that gives you the whole thought of, oh, there's strength in numbers, so I can, act out a little bit more. And I think that's what people, because again, you get these people in one-on-one situations, I guarantee you
They'll never say that shit.
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
Yeah, their demeanor will change.
No, absolutely not.
Because anytime, like, for example, even in fighting game community, you see people like talk all this trash, and then like, I'm gonna beat you up in real life, blah blah blah. Then they actually get in the same room, Everybody
Weak as
just
fuck.
mean mugging. It's,
Yeah, right.
It's like, when do y'all throw a punch, dude? This is getting
Right.
boring.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I think that's what you run into is everybody behind the keyboard is tough as nails, but as soon as it's like back to, in face-to-face reaction, reality.
And that's part of the
Everybody
reason
loses.
why I don't even, react or even get angry anymore about, what people say online. Because I know half the time, if you were in somebody's face, you would never, even think about saying, some shit like that. But, I always treat people with respect online, whether I'm online or even in person,
Right.
because that's just the way I am.
For sure.
But some of these dudes, be talking sideways and reckless.
Tough.
Bro.
It's tough.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just
no,
crazy.
Don't be talking too tough, my guy.
Anyway, so speaking of another advent, you kind of touched on it. Dude was fighting you in Smash, right? Dude, the advent of esports as a genre. I mean, dude,
that's
Yeah.
big.
I never imagined that it would be like this.
That's the only part where I feel. I mean,
Jealous,
it's too late. Not
angry.
just like we born and around, because this is stuff that we did and we loved. And had those things been around when we were in our younger days, we most definitely probably would have tried to go towards that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We would have, in our collective circle, would have been training with each other. Probably put together a team. Probably would have gone out and done this stuff. And now I won't say we were old, and it's not too late. I mean, you could still, but we got families. Some of us,
Right.
you got friggin' bills and responsibilities and
Right.
stuff. That's just not happening.
Yeah, no, no, we can't do it.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? How that shit just...
What?
Just thinking about what he said, like we literally we go to the arcades and just play these games and go to the houses and play
Right.
these games, and we weren't even
Hours.
thinking about
Hours.
hours. We
Yeah.
weren't even thinking about having like a esports or
Fucking selling
Yeah,
out
so-
arenas,
yeah,
dude. Are
arenas,
you
right.
kidding me?
What do you even thought?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like even in our wildest dreams, at the most, we said, okay, yeah, you might be able to feel like a hotel's conference room. Arenas,
Arenas. Shit, we were still excited about damn what X-Men gonna be about
Right.
right,
at that time,
Yeah.
But it's like it's crazy.
right.
Well, we also got some very interesting advances in medical science, especially around 2012, when a man was able to fix his broken back by hanging from a rope. And a dude punched him in the back, and it suddenly fixed his back within a couple of hours.
His L7 was hanging out.
Right. I'm just gonna let you hang here, and it's gonna pop your vertebrae back in.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dog.
I mean,
Yeah.
who knew there was a licensed chiropractor in an ancient prison, you know?
Yeah, it's
Licensed chiropractor,
In
ancient
Santa
prison. You climb out, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden you just get 2,000 miles across, and you back home.
right.
So not only
Yeah.
advances in medicine, but advances in teleportation somehow, some way.
Right. Right. So some really dope stuff that kind of happened.
Dope stuff, man. It's just like the video games, man. The movies, the friggin' comic book movies. Like, we had comic book movies since 1989. Batman, before then.
before that,
of
yeah.
course.
70s.
The Superman,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But Batman, to me, was way better than the Superman quadrilogy or whatever.
Quadrilogy.
Well,
Whatever you
say
want to
that
call
again.
it. The first Batman quadrilogy.
Okay.
It was
all
4
right.
movies, right?
Anthology.
Only 2 of them
I'd call
were
it
good.
anthology.
I'm still not a big fan of those movies just because of the setting. They didn't have technology, a lot of stuff, but they got Superman right. That's what Superman is.
Yeah.
They need to bring that to today, but add stuff that's more exciting because you got the technology to it. But when Marvel just started putting out their comic book movies, because before then we had Spider-Man. Spider-Man was good. We had Blade. Blade was great. But then the MCU, dude, I'm sorry. People out there look at the MCU and they pick apart certain things, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, to me, this is friggin' awesome that somebody had the audacity, to sit down and says, we are doing movies and we're going to connect that stuff together and then have these big finish-off type movies that come out. God, have you ever seen that before?
Yeah.
No.
That's probably the
I mean,
biggest thing.
no.
Yeah, no,
Nope.
you're probably right, because if you think about it, right, even the previous decade, towards the end, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this superhero movie bubble is about to burst. You're making too many of them. There's no way that this is going to be sustainable." Then 2012 happens.
And bam.
Then bam, that shit was just over. Like after the Avengers came out, it was a wrap. It was like, dude, it was like
Yeah, it's like,
Whoa.
where's the slowdown at now? Where's
Yeah.
that slowdown now?
Right.
And it's crazy, like you said, it's never been done before. So that initial of seeing Nick Fury at the end of Iron Man, you're like,
that was.
whoa.
I mean, that was 2008. You know, that was 2008.
That was
That was 2008.
But
Right.
still.
but when
the seed was
Even
planted.
still.
yeah, the seed was planted, right? But we didn't think that necessarily would get to its fruition. But then when it did get to its fruition, we didn't think it would be like that.
We didn't think it was gonna
Like,
work.
that shit was just
I don't think
unbelievable.
I don't think we thought it was gonna
Right.
work. I don't think we thought it was gonna work.
Not like that.
Not like that.
Not like
and
that.
Then when you see them all together, just communicate like, whoa, this shit
This
is
shit was
serious.
seamless, dude.
Yes,
This shit
yes.
was awesome.
It's like
flawless. It
it's
was
like
like-
none of us was sure until like it's like, okay, this movie's out. Okay, like, ooh, interesting. Did you see another movie come out? Okay, cool. Then as the more as you come out, and it's like, okay, it's not real until we see that first trailer with everybody in one movie. And then once we saw that trailer, it's like, oh shit, it's happening.
I think
It's
my
like it was a
favorite.
wrap.
I think my favorite kind of aha moment about how they were going to work this out was in Thor. The way they introduced Hawkeye in Thor, and they did it in such a way that the only thing they gave you a clue that you knew it was Barton was beyond, obviously everybody that knows who Hawkeye is like when you see him reach for the gun and like, nah, skip that, I'll take the bow. You know, the people in the know who that was. And then for Coulson to confirm it by saying, saying Barton stand down or whatever, that was cool. And I love the fact that they didn't beat you over the head with it. It was like, look, either you got it or you didn't, or you just got to wait and see what the hell, like, what's the significance of this guy being up over there with a bow and arrow about to shoot Thor, or, it's like, or you might go home and research it or whatever. But they just did it in such a way where, like, here it is. If you know who that is, cool. If you know where, you know where we're going. And they just kept on with the rest of the story and just kept telling the story. And then Captain America comes through. And then you finally get there in 2012, like you said, and it's just like, holy shit, they actually did it. And it was good.
Yeah.
It was like really good. I'm like, dang. And like you said, that was a huge change just in cinema, because it was like, you've had movies that have had various continuities and winks and nods to like, oh, these are in the same universe and this and that.
Freddy
It's like,
vs.
nah.
Jason comes to mind, actually.
Which one?
Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I'm being for real.
Yeah, no, and he's right
I
though.
know,
but it's just,
I know. It's just thinking about the result that we got at the end.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Hey, Freddy vs. Jason was actually fun.
It was fun. I
enjoyed
liked it.
because
Yeah.
the thing is, it was like, you can't take this serious.
No.
You just got to have fun with it. It's like, look, give them both their chance to shine, and then here it is. But I think with Avengers, it was like, it taught studios of like, look, if you plan this right, this can work, and it's gonna make money. And I think that's the change in cinema. It's just like,
I agree.
But
And
it's kind of
also-
fun. But it's kind of funny. But the thing is, even with you saying that, they still didn't learn anything because everybody has tried to replicate it and failed.
I was just actually going to bring that up. Like, we've had 2 attempts at a copycat. We've had Universals and we've had Warner Brothers.
But here's the thing: you can't copy. It's like trying to copy off of somebody's homework or copy off of somebody's like test or whatever. If you ain't sitting there looking at exactly what they're doing and replicating it, you're not going to get the same results. You just won't, because it's like, okay, if you're trying to copy a test and there's 10 questions on the test, but you've already done 6 of the questions and you're trying to copy the last 4, and you screwed up the other 6, you still gonna get a bad grade. So if you're gonna take it, do the Universal, for example, or DC, for example, if you don't get a Kevin Feige-like person, give him the authority, put him in charge, let him lay out a whole game plan, and everybody be on board with that game plan, it's going to fail. And I think that's what these other studios aren't realizing. It's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do an Avengers thing. Okay, fine, cool. Do a Wonder Woman movie, a Batman movie, a Superman movie. Do them in order. Introduce these characters the new way they're going to be. Don't. Oh, we're gonna do the Avengers part first, and then we're gonna trickle it down later. It's like, you can't do it backwards.
We need the ensemble right away.
Department labeling everybody. Come on.
Right, and then even with Universal, it's like, okay, you want to do a Universal Dark Universe with the Mummy and all of the original Universal monsters. Okay, cool. If you're going to do that, don't do the Mummy in such a weird ass way where it's like nothing else is going to fit or work. Because it's like, okay, you had Jekyll and Hyde in the Mummy movie. And again, they had a perfect actor to play him.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe was amazing in that part. But it's like, it just came so out of left field. It's like, I thought we was trying to deal with this new Mummy and figure out what her story is. And now you're throwing in Jekyll and Hyde, and then you're trying to, it's like, man, you freaking shot yourself in the foot before you even got off the ground. It's like, if you're going to do the Mummy, do the Mummy. if you want to really do Jekyll and Hyde, introduce his character, but don't have him turn into Hyde in that same movie. Just at least, hey, Jekyll exists in this universe. We're going to do something with him later.
I haven't seen that, so did they actually have him turn into
Yes.
Hyde? Oh,
Yeah.
Just
I haven't
for
seen
for
it,
no
but
reason. It was just like,
Oh,
dude. It's like, dude, you can work him in there. And again, it goes back to what I was saying with the Avengers example. They put Hawkeye in the movie for Thor, and they didn't make a huge deal out of the fact that he was in there. They were like, look, we need an agent up high with a gun. He took a bow and arrow instead. If you know the character, damn it, that's cool.
great.
Sweet.
Right,
Great nod.
exactly.
You didn't make a big deal out of it. You didn't try to turn the movie into partially a Hawkeye. It's like, no, he's there. He's coming up later. And I think that's the problem with a lot of studios. They try to jump the gun because they saw how it worked. It's like, yeah, it worked because they did all of this other stuff on top of that. So, I think to me, that's the biggest change out of any movie making thing of this decade.
I like
Is this-
literally put that as our. Are we all in consensus that was pretty much the biggest moment of the last decade?
That
was like
Thanos-
how what?
And when Thanos came at the end of
Oh yeah. I mean, the Avengers itself was kind of like the pivoting point for everything.
But because at the time we didn't know Thanos was gonna be in it, did we?
No.
Right.
No, no one knew.
And
No one knew. That
So
was like the
seeing
biggest
that,
surprise.
Right. So seeing that, you like, oh shit, that's Thanos. Off rip.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, this dude. Then the Avengers came with, who's that? Dark Side? I said, no, man, get out. Dark Side. I'm like, oh my god, get this man out of here.
But I mean, again, and that's.
I mean, you can see the confusion though.
The characters are similar
Correct.
in a lot of different ways, direct out of the comics. But I think just from a cinematic standpoint, that did change the game.
Yeah.
That made a lot of these studios, basically swing for the fences on a lot of these films. Yeah. Oh no, Marvel completely turned the end credits thing into a thing.
Oh yeah.
Right. So
Like
now
everybody's staying.
So that's the third thing.
Yeah.
Putting end credits now. All
Yeah,
regular
like
movies are putting
literally
end
because
credits
of
now.
that, everybody stays in their seats until the credits are done.
Right.
Which is cool.
Like,
I mean, and again, you honoring the people that put their, lives on hold to do these films, or that's their bread and butter or whatever. So I mean, that's cool too, just from a creative standpoint. But as far as another big change though out of the decade, I don't know. Star Wars fans becoming two very, 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 very divisive groups. I don't think Star Wars fans have been this divisive ever. Because even you have people that hated the prequels and would swear by the original trilogy, but they always kind of just it was never this like. Just
Everybody was kind of everybody was kind of in consensus. Like it wasn't really like either everybody was kind of flowing one way or they were flowing the other way with it. Well, like good or bad, and it's like now everybody's at each other's throats.
Well, I'm glad I'm not a hardcore Star Wars fan, so I can just enjoy it.
I'm kind of glad you're not either.
enjoy
You know
it.
you're wearing a shirt. I'm kind of glad you're not.
Yeah,
course. I mean,
I just
it's
enjoy
great.
it because I don't understand the hardcore type thing where it's like tattooed to your heart, and if somebody comes along,
See,
and changes,
I have a slight theory on that. Part of it is born out of, I don't want to say it's frustration, right? Because when we got the prequels, we were like, okay, we get it. We're probably not going to see. We're probably not ever going to see further adventures of Luke, Han, Leia, because the actors at that point, even when the prequels came out, were kind of starting to get a little bit over the hill. As time was kept going on, we weren't going to be able to see Luke Skywalker in his prime. And whatever was going to fall out from that. Now, when the sequels came out, right? I think part of the Disney tried to play it safe and have it both ways. And we find out now that was definitely a mistake. They definitely shouldn't have done that. What they should have done is start completely from scratch with Rey Finn Poe, and just been
no Luke Skywalker,
no Luke Skywalker at all.
Nothing.
Like no Luke Skywalker, no Han, no Leia, none of that. It should have just been them, right? Because it would have been something completely brand new. Like look at the Mandalorian. Mandalorian is universally beloved because while it ties to the original, it's still its own thing. It's like brand new. Like
Baby Yoda. I bet you if Baby Yoda wasn't in there, people wouldn't even care.
I doubt that. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
The show itself was still good, but Baby Yoda, that guaranteed to have fans right there.
Baby Yoda is gonna bring all the females in. with the quickness, because I know people that don't even like sci-fi that know about Baby Yoda.
Well, sure.
So-
I mean, he's extremely cute. I get
He got
that.
punched in the head.
I get that. But as soon as they decided to do the sequel trilogies and they said Luke Han and Leia were going to be in it, all of those old fans that were saying, "Oh, we're going to get more adventures of Luke Han and Leia," and then you get to Force Awakens and Luke is in it for all of 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait a minute.
Because that's what they were expecting.
Right.
But
They're expecting.
And then they double down on it by The Last Jedi. You see Luke, he reaches for the lightsaber, grabs the lightsaber, thinks about it, tosses it over his head. He's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
here's my thing with that though. Disney and any movie, matter of fact, any movie studio doesn't owe your expectations. Shit.
I agree.
I agree as
I
well.
agree.
They're going to make whatever story they're going to make, regardless of how you feel about it, regardless of what you think should happen. Because one of the things that the fans seem to forget is all of that stuff you read, all of those Legends books, all of that other whatever, all of those novels don't mean crap anymore because they are not part of the canon. That sits on its own side of Legends, and everything that's going on now is done by people because guess what? They ain't paying all them Legends authors all them extra rights and all the stuff for those stories.
And they're doing exactly what Kylo Ren told them not to do. He's like, no, you're still holding on. Like literally, they're still holding on to all of that stuff, and they won't let it go.
I agree with you though, about the whole thing about not having in. If they did have him in there, be like a Force ghost or something like that. Advise and say like, what's her name? Somehow found those books on her own through the Force or something like that, and she found them and then started getting into the books and all that stuff. But I could see that because it would have cut it, and we didn't have to worry about it anymore.
But I mean, they still would have complained, but at least nobody knew.
I didn't have any problem with it.
I didn't have
neither did I.
I'm just saying, just even from a story standpoint, because it's not like this is far enough removed to get rid of those characters, and this is going to answer the questions of okay, what happened with those different characters, and as soon as you get Kylo Ren in it, you're automatically tying in those other old characters because damn it, that's Han and Leia's son.
Yeah.
So you have to have that, and okay, who trained him? Luke. Oh well, damn it, now you got to have him too. So it's like. Unless you jump 100 years forward and those characters have died off, and Chewbacca could still be around because he's a Wookiee and they last longer than most humans anyway. So it's and like you said, they're trying to play both sides of it, but at the same time, it's like realistically, what they're trying to do is they're paying a little bit of homage to what came before, and they're gearing up for what's coming next. Because again, those actors, as you've said, are all old. That movie, the first movie was over 40 years ago. It's been a little bit of time. I think people are, not even just from an actor standpoint, they're kind of done. They're kind of tired.
We already lost a couple of them this past decade. So
Exactly.
It was like, we lost Carrie Fisher, and it was somebody else.
Yeah.
It was somebody else that we lost. I forget that was a part of the franchise. There's a couple people that we lost. So it was like, it's like at some point, it's like, okay, the story does have to move on some way. And the only thing that I would say as far as the sequel trilogy is, I still like it as a whole, but it definitely probably would have gone better if they actually had a set plan for each movie.
Well, that's partially J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson's fault.
They didn't
Yeah,
communicate.
and I
He's
agree,
also the
and I totally
president
agree.
of,
I really think they should have.
Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah.
They all should have
gets way too much flack,
They
by the
all
way.
should have completely planned everything out. Everybody had a set plan. It's like, look, this is what we're gonna do, and set these pieces up, and instead of just how they did it, which again has made Star Wars fans very divisive since these movies came out, probably more so since Disney bought Lucasfilms and made all the extra shit Legends. So it's like, because everybody that comes along and they bring up the Legend shit, and it's like, look, I like Star Wars. I haven't read all the extra shit or whatever. But the thing is that I came across one Star Wars book before I even knew that there was a novel. I'm like, okay, cool, Star Wars novel. This seems like an interesting buy. Bought it from this replay, and I was like, okay, this is cool. Looked up to see how many other books there were. It's like hundreds upon hundreds of books.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, I'm not about to go and look for all this. I'm sorry. It's like, look, I love Star Wars the way I love Star Wars, but it's like, look, that doesn't mean I have to go and read every single thing attached to the lore. Like, I don't have that kind of time. Like it's like, and everybody is not going to
Slow
go
to
back
deep.
and research all that shit. It's
Slow
like
to deep.
no.
So, oh, you got something?
No, I'll go to you first. Then
Okay, I just want to switch it up from the Star
I
Wars.
can't switch it up
comics.
because
Okay, switch up. It's in the chat.
chat.
Alright, so
Alright.
go ahead.
Some in the
Yeah,
chat that
go ahead.
is basically a retort about what you said about how the fans have no say at all. Hannibal Mega goes and said then the studio shouldn't complain when the fan. What did he say? Because these guys are typing a lot of stuff. Hold up. Get back here. He says then the studio shouldn't complain when they lose when they lose the fan support, right? So
What
like
studios have
They
ever
won't
complained?
care.
No, first of all, don't confuse a director saying something with a studio saying something, because you never really truly hear anything from Walt Disney Studios.
No,
you
you
hear
do not.
something from the people that work for them. You never hear a true official statement from any of these studios. They rarely make a true official statement about anything the fans do because they're there to collect money. That's what they do. Now, if a director says something, that's the director's.
Right.
Again, like they say, the views expressed by blah 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 do not represent the views of Bona Vista Incorporated.
Correct.
Ryan Johnson don't mean nothing
Right.
to them outside of here's your check for doing the movie.
Thank
Have
you.
a good day.
Thank you very much. Like the check has been cut. My man is free and clear. He
Right.
can say whatever the hell he wants. He does not represent what we mean and what we say.
So I don't
That is
think
him.
I don't
That's
think I've
literally-
ever seen a studio bite back at any fans. I've seen directors do it, actors do it. I've seen
Right.
producers do it. I've never seen a studio proper ever because they know better.
yeah.
So they just sit
So
back
they're
and
not going to complain. It doesn't matter at all.
Right.
So that's the retort to your retort there.
Anyway, so what were you gonna say?
I was just saying, like, I know we was talking about movies and stuff of the decade, but there's other stuff we haven't talked about in that decade
As far
realm.
as like the moment, like a
in
moment,
a sense,
or
but let's talk about the first challenge, the planking.
planking challenge.
Yeah,
The challenges.
Yeah, technically, think about
Oh,
it.
like the ALS challenge.
There
too?
was like I
yeah.
think there was challenges before 2010.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
true. No, you're right. You're
That
right.
was the
Social
first. I just
media.
looked it up too, but the first thing you think about, like, damn, I forgot about playing. Now we got challenges.
all the time.
Concurrent all the
And
time.
some of them be
Cinnamon
stupid
challenge.
as
They're stupid,
fuck,
right.
dude.
But
Come on.
they've been
Tide
stupid.
Pods.
Yeah, that was fucking.
Was that even a real thing? Or
Yes.
was it like an urban
Yes.
legend?
Yes,
No,
it
that was
unfortunately
literally
it
a
was.
thing.
people did those.
They had to
Yeah.
change the
But
color
this
of the
is like
Tide
the-
Pod so they wouldn't look appetizing.
But planking was like that original one that everybody was doing in weird places. Was hilarious. That was actually funny.
Well, planking, and then what was it? The ice bucket
Ice
challenge.
bucket
came
challenge for
around.
ALS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you said the cinnamon one. I mean, there was a lot of
The
like really.
ghost pepper ones.
Yeah.
The
Well,
ghost
see,
pepper challenge.
to me, food challenges outside of cinnamon, because cinnamon is just a dumb one to do. It's
Yeah,
like
it is.
too much cinnamon can actually be detrimental to your health.
Oh yeah.
So it's like the ghost pepper one is fine because it's like, damn it, it's a really hot pepper, and it might, if you can handle it, you can handle it. If you can't, you can't. That's fine. It's not gonna kill you.
It might
But-
kill some people.
It might. Some people, depending on how they react to it or
Might,
whatever.
right. I think I might.
Right.
No, but I mean, like that, I have zero problem with. But some of the other ones are just too dumb.
Yeah.
Like, some of y'all need. Yeah, I better not say it.
He's holding his tongue. I can't believe it.
Don't
Nah,
let
just
it go. Let it
because I know
go.
how YouTube is. So.
Yeah, it'll live forever. What
The first iPad,
That was
was it?
2010.
Was it 2010?
April 2010.
So the advent of kind of like
Star Trek
Tab-
pads. Let's just call it what it is.
yeah, sure, that's true.
That's true. That's the first thing that everybody. And I'm glad that
yeah.
they came. Matter of fact, even with my original iPad, I have an app for that Star Trek data pad look.
Oh,
to make it
to
look
the
like
L-card
it, yeah.
screen?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which again, that's
cool.
That was the first thing everybody thought of when you first
Yeah,
saw it. It's just
absolutely.
like, oh man, Star Trek, here we go.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I thought of. And again, Star Trek to this day is still influencing a lot of the stuff that we have now.
That, and we forgot about
What?
2012. Everybody thought the world's going to end.
Oh yeah.
Oh, because of that movie?
That movie.
Yeah.
Not just the movie. I think
First
that has something
off-
to do with
Before
the.
that, too,
Oh,
First
yeah,
off,
the Mayan and
the
the Aztec
Mayan
thing.
calendar.
I
Yeah, Mayan
was
calendar,
over.
alright.
I was over the prediction of the end of the world after the Y2K thing. After that,
Yeah, I was
nothing
Great movie,
else,
done with that.
nothing else
Yeah.
was like, no, I'm not buying it for one bit. Because the thing is, they were doing the 1999. They've been doing that for what, like 20 years.
Oh yeah,
Like,
everybody
leading
thinks the
up
world's
to
going
it.
to end. Like,
Everybody
once
thought
you
that
get
that
to
was
a
going to be
particular
like the end of
whatever.
everything. It was like after that, and I'm like, okay, so no one really knows. Okay, noted. And that's just how I felt afterwards. It was like, bro, come on, stop
I
it.
mean,
Stop it.
let's just be real. The world's going to end when the world ends. Period.
Right.
Whenever that is. It's
Like I
just
said,
yeah.
we've had Avengers Endgame, so if the world wants to go ahead and end, we can go ahead and end.
I gotta see
Like I said,
X-Men and
No.
MCU.
Thanos
dude.
not-
We
I
know,
gotta see
Thanos
we
X-Men
know.
and
Like
MCU.
Yeah,
you
I
say
guess.
that, but now I'm waiting on Secret Wars to happen.
Well, hey, the rumor is that Hulk is back in the MCU now.
And Namor.
So
baby.
it reverted back, huh?
Ah,
That's the rumor.
it's
That's the
possible.
rumor.
It's
We
very,
don't
very
know yet.
possible.
Okay.
It's supposed, insider, talk so far, but
Right.
no official announcement has been made. Blah blah blah. Realistically, if they just get down to it, be like, look, damn it, Universal, here's $2 billion. Give us our stuff back and leave. They could easily do that, and it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't slow them
Yeah,
down at all.
the acquisitions this decade too. Like
That
just
is
because of
true.
that. Like the
But some-
acquisitions
yeah.
have been nuts, dude.
And
Like,
Sorry,
Just-
because
just-
it's like
just
this thing
outside-
when you say
just
acquisitions,
outside
man,
of the-
bring about Fox, dude.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
Huge.
yeah. That was a huge
but
acquisition.
even bigger than that, AT&T.
The AT&T
AT&T.
merger, with
AT&T
Warner.
acquired
Oh,
Warner
they bought
Media.
Warner.
The rise of the conglomerate, basically.
Yeah.
In America, like
Here's the
super
thing, though.
companies.
A lot of people are mad about it. Whatever.
are.
I think it fast tracks a lot of stuff that we want. That's just how I look at
They're
it.
gonna have their own armies one day, dude. They're gonna split up America.
Hey,
They're gonna have Florida and Alabama and friggin'
by the time
Georgia.
that happens, we'll all be too old to care.
Hey, remember that whole net neutrality shit?
Oh, net neutrality.
Oh, I think that's still.
That was like a huge thing, like a couple of years ago, right?
He was going crazy. Pornhub was like, yo! We don't want this to happen.
Yeah.
You can't stop us.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, it's, and again, the Fox thing, I have zero problems with that because, again, we know what it means for the MCU, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four. They're finally going to be done properly.
That was a chess move
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
dude.
Exactly.
They didn't give a shit about all those
Like,
IPs.
dog, man, come on.
Hey,
Selfishly.
realistically,
I
though,
mean,
from
shit.
a-
Look, 20th Century Fox, as far as their properties go, was like, look, they weren't doing anything good with the X-Men consistently. They
Not just
butchered.
X-Men. It was
They-
almost damn near
They
everything.
butchered. They butchered
Alien.
Fantastic Four. Then they couldn't get a really good Alien movie. Like in
That
recent
was their
years.
fault,
They
though.
butchered,
And they were-
they
they
tried to
butchered.
get my man.
They butchered Predator at the end of it. Like,
Yep.
dude, like,
And then beyond that, they went ahead and just dragged poor Bruce Willis and John McClane through the mud.
Oh, yeah.
With them
Oh, my-
them Die Hard sequels.
I didn't even watch those.
dude,
Yeah.
like
couldn't
if they
watch
would have
it
just
either.
left it alone after the fourth one, I would have been fine. Like, cause
Should've
I
stayed nameless.
I didn't hate the fourth. I thought the fourth one was okay.
Live Free and Die
Like, I thought
Hard.
it was decent. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
thought that was
Timothy-
cool.
Timothy
If they
Olyphant as a
decided to
villain.
leave it
Yeah.
alone there, I would have been cool. But they had
Nah.
to go in and make that last one with Jai
Sorry.
Courtney
Sorry, the best Die Hard is still the third one.
Mm-hmm. Die Hard.
McClane!
for a lot of reasons. For a lot of
The
reasons.
best, the Die Hard 3, Die Hard 3, because the thing is, all right, here's the thing. The first Die Hard classic, without a doubt, one of
Absolutely.
the best Christmas
Without a
movies ever
doubt.
made.
Yeah.
Without a
One
doubt.
of the best Christmas movies ever made. We all know that.
That's true.
But
Mhm.
Die Hard 2 was like,
It was kind of
it
like
was,
a retread.
it was
man.
okay.
It was more of the same.
It
Yeah,
was,
you watch it again
like,
now.
it was-
The shit's hilarious.
It was.
No, it's
it was.
funny.
it was
It was
funny,
hilarious. It was
but it
cool
was
for
just
what it
pretty much more
was.
the
Stuff
same.
was like, yeah. But then you get to the third one, it's like, as you started sitting there watching it and picking some of the stuff out, it's like, I could actually halfway believe that this could happen.
Right.
Like you sitting
Yeah.
there looking at McClane and like the stuff he's figuring out, the little like clues that he's putting together,
Yeah.
and then like you got
like
Sam,
that.
filling in the other gaps. It was like I could actually see these two in this situation and actually coming out on top. I could actually somewhat believe it. And again, I'm not looking at Die Hard to be believable. And again, it's not supposed to
Right.
be. It's like it's
like
an
an
action.
escape room, dude.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. But when you got to the fourth one, the fifth one, it's like, dude, when did McClane suddenly become like a genius of arson and destruction? It's just like the fool. He took down a helicopter with a taxi.
What? I
Like,
didn't
come
see
on,
that.
No, that was in Live Free and Die Hard. That shit was ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm like, dude. I'm like,
It was ridiculous, but it was
was
fun at the
Wait a
same
minute,
time.
No,
wait a
it
minute,
was
wait a minute. So you call him hitting a helicopter with a taxi, but them motherfuckers was driving the building a Lamborghini and Fast and Furious ridiculous?
Like,
Come on
it definitely,
now.
it definitely was
But
making
see,
some
at least in
decent
Fast and Furious,
though. I'm
at
not
least in
gonna
Fast
lie.
and Furious, they knew they were being stupid. They knew they were going over the top. But by that time, it had become a live action cartoon. Right, like literally.
Because at the end of Live Free and Die Hard, a Harrier was shooting up a spiral ramp on a freeway, and he's still driving the
Yes.
truck down the ramp.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
I'm
he was
like,
driving a fucking big rig.
yeah. So like some of the stuff
Yeah.
going on was getting a little.
It
bit,
was the
like,
craziest
ridiculous.
shit, dude.
But like him driving through Central Park,
Yeah.
talking about like you said McClane and all
Yeah.
that, like he was doing that. He was like, "You trying to hit these people? Nah, well, maybe that mime. You know, like that stuff like
was
that.
great.
Yeah,
Stuff like that was cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it just and it just worked. Like their chemistry in that movie
It
was
was
like
organic.
spot on
It was,
purpose.
it was organic. It was good. Like
Right,
it's,
and,
like
and Jeremy Irons is always a freaking great villain to have. So it's like that movie just worked for me. Out of all the diehards, that's my favorite one. That's the one I can keep watching over and over. It does not get stale to me.
arguably, I can't disagree with you. Like that's definitely. I probably have watched 3 more than I have 1, and I love 1.
Yeah,
You know,
I go back to what
and,
you're saying.
but I also still enjoy 2 for what it is. Like I don't
that's fine,
dislike
you know.
2. I like 2 for what it is.
You got,
So,
you know, you got James.
But
Avery
it was
in
it was
there.
a
Well, not
it
James
was a
Avery, the
retread
other
of the
guy.
first
Amos.
movie, but
Yeah.
John
you know,
Amos.
John Amos, yeah.
Was it government bureaucrat? What do you call him? No, get this bureaucrat out of here. That's what he said.
Father from Good Times.
Father
man.
some motherfucking good time. I couldn't believe he was
James
in that
Amos,
movie.
John Amos, man.
I was like,
That
how the
was,
hell he become a military figure? He been
He got that look,
disciplining.
man.
Dude, he's always
he
had
does.
that.
Really?
I mean, he do.
Oh
He
shit,
do
he
like
been disciplining
he,
JJ for years. Shit, I bet he did.
And again, this isn't because his obviously is way past that decade, this particular decade, his stuff. But
Right.
that was one dude you looked at on TV is like, I would never fuck with him.
Right.
Hell
He's
no.
just- even when he was
just
Cleo
seemed
McDowell,
like,
dude.
Yeah.
like he seemed like he would want to beat somebody's
Right.
ass.
Dude,
You ever hear that story about Eddie Murphy
No.
and him? Apparently on the
Yeah,
original one,
yeah.
Eddie Murphy was all in the garb, and he saw John Amos and he came over there and started, talking to him and started fucking with him.
Yeah.
And John Amos was like, "Man, you better get out of here before I knock you the fuck out." And then Eddie Murphy started laughing with his laugh that he gave.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah." It's like,
Yeah, I think
That's
what
crazy,
it was
man.
he was in the
He was in the
makeup
old
as
Jewish
the
dude's
Jewish guy.
guard. Right?
Yeah.
He was a little Jewish.
Yeah,
Jewish
he
guy.
was in the makeup as the old
Yeah.
Jewish guy. He was messing
Funny.
with John.
So he literally thought it was like some dude that just kind of
Right.
wandered on set.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, see, John Amos, man, he always had that look like he was just ready to just
Yeah.
knock
Right.
somebody
Knuckle
out.
up.
Like,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
You know his coldest look. Y'all know what his coldest look was in, right? Beastmaster,
So-
dude.
Yeah. I ain't seen
Dude.
Beastmaster in
I
so
ain't
long.
seen her. I don't forgot
Dude,
shit.
he
Yeah.
was take no
It's been a
prisoners.
while.
Real.
It's
Take
been
no
a
prisoners.
while.
Trivia for those watching.
Right.
Right.
What voice did what is it? Not the title character. I guess he is technically the title character. But Mark Singer, the actor, what voice did he? What cartoon? I'll just leave it at that. What cartoon did he do a voice of in the premiere episode of?
It's good trivia.
Shit, what? This is a cartoon?
It was a cartoon. Mark Singer did a prominent voice in. It was like it wasn't it actually was a recurring role, but he did a prominent voice in the premiere episode of a very, very popular cartoon. And I'll leave it at that, and I'll tell everybody at the end of the show if we don't get nobody in the chat that can figure it out.
Right. So we
Without looking it up on IMDb.
Yes. No
Wait a minute,
no
man.
search engine.
You know
no search
that,
engine.
that puts me under the gun. I'm gonna have to end the show in like the next minute or so.
Hey,
You know that, right?
Hey, again, I'm just saying. You know,
You know that, right?
Keep going.
Yeah.
Changes of the decade.
Anyway,
like I
so
said.
yeah. Honestly, this past decade, we didn't even touch on a lot of the stuff.
Oh,
like
it's so much.
There was so much stuff. Like
Yeah.
there was so many, incredible games, TV shows, movies that came out, in this past decade. I was looking. I mean, like when I was doing my research for the show, it's like I'm looking back at all this list, and I'm like, holy cow, this past decade
Crazy.
had a lot of really. I mean, this past decade for geeks, and nerds, people like us, culture junkies, was probably second to the 80s.
Arguably,
in
yes.
generating,
Arguably, yes.
second to the
I would
80s
say
in
the 90s,
generating.
dude.
I would say the 90s.
90s is
man.
way more
90s
stuff
had
for
way
us.
more stuff coming
Really?
out than the 80s.
Because it was more bold.
Yeah,
Let's see.
way
if
more
you-
stuff coming
Okay,
out in
if
the
you want to stick yourself in the 80s, you got Beverly Hills Cop. You got.
I'm not talking just movies. I'm talking like
You got
overall.
Nintendo.
Yeah, you just had Nintendo, dude.
Yeah, Nintendo
The
and
90s,
then hold on.
If we're
when did
talking
Genesis
about the
drop?
trifecta,
Genesis
Genesis came out
89.
89.
1990.
But in Japan. No, 89
Yeah, it was
over here,
1990.
88. No,
88.
it was 88 in Japan, 89 over
So
here.
right, so you just had
Genesis.
the Genesis and Nintendo. You didn't even get the Game Boy yet. You had a couple of movies that we all liked, Transformers and G.I. Joe and stuff and like that.
Looney.
But the 90s is when you got Super Nintendo, a bunch of movies we like, Terminator 2, like a
Arcade
lot
really
of
started.
I
arcade.
guess
yeah.
I guess it
Fighter
I guess it
2,
depends on what you were
Virtua
looking
Fighter,
for.
Tekken, A whole bunch
Because
of
like,
stuff.
I'm trying to look at it from like
I
the
mean-
trifecta part of it, where we're looking at movies, games, and comic books.
same.
I think the
Me
boom.
too.
I think the boom was in the 90s.
Yeah.
The boom was in the
boom was
90s,
in the
but the
90s.
foundation was definitely the
Oh,
80s.
of course, yes, but when it
They
comes, when he
planted
just
the
said
seeds in the 80s,
right.
and they started watering it.
I mean, yeah, because like you
Started
think like
growing big
even this
time
past
in the 90s.
decade,
Yep.
a lot of 80s shit has come back around. Of
course.
you know,
No, of course
because
it, because this entertainment
that's
is
the
cyclical.
that's the
We know
decade that
that.
keeps on giving.
No, but again, the 80s has a bunch of stuff that, yes, a lot of people grew up with, and they're trying to go back and relive that or, do stuff with. But as far as a true what came out of it decade, the 90s has got it
Yeah.
killed, man.
So even think about from 95,
arguably.
96, 97, 98, 99. That was crazy.
Yep.
From wrestling, video games,
Yep.
movies, TV shows.
Right, you had
Yeah,
The Rock,
but-
you had
right.
Triple H, you had
Okay.
Undertaker, you
Yeah,
had
that's true.
you-
Yeah.
from a movie side of things, Blade came into the picture.
Yeah.
Like there's this the 90s brought in a lot of big stuff.
We
that,
did.
again is
did, but-
and like Dido said, the 90s stuff is being watered and being planted and whatnot, and now we're starting to get some of the fruits of that
Right.
now because
Yes.
Yeah.
Blade
You're right.
Blade
You're
was
right.
the start of comic book
yeah.
movies being taken truly serious. A lot of people try to say X-Men. No, Blade did it first.
Blade
No,
came
it was Blade.
first.
Blade
It
was
first.
Blade was
Blade
the
did it.
hard Blade. The first Blade was the hard R comic book movie that was like, dude, if as a concept we do this right, we can make some money. And then of course X-Men
And
came
they did.
along, switched it up, and things were a little bit different.
Spider-Man
But
came out in 2000. So
Spider-Man came out, but again, Blade in the '90s was
Right.
the catalyst for all of that.
What did
Was
Daredevil come out?
arguably made by Warner
Daredevil,
Brothers.
that failure of a movie.
Yeah, that came out after that, right?
Yeah, that
Right.
came out in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like Fantastic Four, Daredevil.
What'd you
so
talking
that's
about?
why
Oh,
Fox
Fantastic
started
Four?
doing
No,
Yeah.
Daredevil.
Daredevil,
and,
yeah.
Blade came out, what,
the Mark
98,
Steven
right?
Johnson one.
Was one?
Blade came out 98, 97,
98.
right?
97,
But
98.
we
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
Batman and
Yeah.
Robin the year before.
Yeah, Daredevil came out
Oh, that
like
was-
2001, 2002.
Yeah.
I thought it came
Batman
out-
and Robin was when it was the leftover of camp,
97.
trying to be,
That was
It
Yeah.
died out. It
Yeah.
died out after
We
that.
had
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We had some. I mean, the thing is, we had like I think like as far as like if we're looking at the good and the bad, and we're looking at the ratio, like what do you think had like the better ratio between good and bad as far as the decades?
80s probably still had better good, more good than bad. It didn't age well, a lot of it, I'm sure. But, as far as like, undeniable classics, John Hughes's most like unbelievable run of films that he had.
Of course,
Um,
right?
The 90s had a lot of really incredible classics. It did have probably more bad, but that's arguable.
But it was bad, but it was like one of those comfort type of things. It was like you watched it, you know it was terrible, but you watched it anyway. But
Give me an
I
example.
think what you ran into is the 80s was for action movies, especially your Schwarzenegger, your Rambo, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, that sort of stuff, Cobra, those sorts of things. Even though Cobra and those other movies came out in the 90s, but they were still carryovers
Yeah.
from the old 80s style of
Yeah.
gritty, hardcore action.
Yeah.
The 90s started ushering in the whole, hey, you can enhance these stories with CGI. Because Terminator 2, damn it, still to this day stands as one of the
finest films of all
like one
time.
of the best.
Yeah,
It
Jurassic
does.
Park.
Yeah.
Which one? Yeah, Jurassic Park as
Park
well.
in the 90s.
Terminator 2 to me, I still go back and watch that movie of like, dude, the fact that they did this way back then and
Right.
it still holds up. It was still a good
Yeah.
story.
You
It
get
was
that 4K
still
version?
Yeah.
Already? Yeah. Okay.
the 4K spoils it a little because it's too clear. That's one of the things. That's one of the
Kind of
things
like
you run.
putting what is it, Superman 4 on Blu-ray.
Right. It's like the 4K version is too clear because you see, like, you can see,
everything.
like the
Yeah.
compositing of like, certain things, and it's because it's so sharp. And it's like Ghostbusters suffered from that. When Ghostbusters first got on Blu-ray, you could see areas where it's just like, oh, they didn't completely finish that effect, or they didn't darken it enough so you couldn't see the pure
Right.
outline of blah blah blah. Because like, for example, in Ghostbusters, and anybody that owns Ghostbusters, go back and look at this shot. In the original cut of Ghostbusters, VHS, early DVDs, whatever, when they showed the gargoyle statue that was overlooking Dana's apartment when she first, pulls up in her taxi in that scene, that's an added effect. That statue doesn't actually exist. So you would be able to see the street lines through the actual gargoyle effect. in the older versions. They've cleaned it up since, but it's one of those that type of stuff. Even back in the original Empire Strikes Back, when they did those shots, the compositing of the cockpit versus the composite of the walkers, there were little overlaps and little things that were wrong in those.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the enhance of Star Wars when they put Jabba the Hutt, I'm like, made him CG. I was like, I want the original Jabba. It looks stupid.
Well,
yeah, the thing is, looking back on those specific special effects, like when he was like redoing the original stuff, it's
Should've kept it how it was.
it's weird. It's weird looking at it now.
Yep. No. Yeah. Oh, here's one thing though, and this is something that's coming out. I don't know when. It's probably going to drop when Rise of Skywalker drops. Announced at Best Buy for $250. They are doing the 4K full saga.
Oh yeah, I
9.
remember them.
So
yeah, the Skywalker saga. They're
calling
it
the Skywalker saga. The only way, and again, I'll probably get it because again, it's getting all of them in 4K. But the only way they could sweeten that deal is, damn it, if they do 4K original cut, original trilogy as an extra bonus. If they do that, I will buy that before the store opens. Damn it, I'll find a way.
Check it out. Would you want them to replace with the 20th Century Fox fanfare on all the movies? No,
keep
them the way
they own it.
That's what I'm saying. Like put it on all the movies, even the ones that didn't have it.
No, bring them out the way they were brought out. Because like I said, the only thing that I would have loved to have seen them do, even when Disney first got it, was like, okay, if you want to show the Cinderella's castle or whatever, have a TIE fighter chasing the Millennium Falcon. That's the only way I would have spiced it up. But
I'm looking at it right now. This is sweet.
Oh, the Skywalker saga, yeah. So no, but realistically, Disney they don't put their logos on stuff, man. They really don't. They honor that. They let the Lucasfilm logo be up there. Obviously, they don't put the 20th Century Fox logo anymore because it's their studio doing it. But I will give them props for that. They're not Disneyfying stuff in the sense of it's a Disney production and blah blah. You jumped right into the movie and you went right into it. You didn't see no Disney anything. Even at the end, you saw, obviously, Buena Vista or whatever, blah blah blah.
Right.
But because by law and by contract with the Motion Picture Association, they have to put their stuff on there because it is their film. But they don't, throw their logo right in there. They let my man, what's his name, do his thing. J.J. Abrams, a bad robot and all that, but you don't see no big Disney logo jumping in your face in these Star Wars movies or even the Marvel movies.
You don't.
No, you don't.
I mean, it's like I was actually thrown off like when you say that. It tripped me out when I realized Universal owns DreamWorks now, and it was I think I watched the third How to Train Your Dragon, and I was like really thrown out. Like it just had like the whole like Universal bumper at the beginning. I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't this DreamWorks? Like,
but before we end the show, because we're at that point, the answer to that trivia question, Mark Singer voiced the Man-Bats character in the premiere episode of Batman the Animated Series.
Kirk Langstrom.
Huh?
Did
No
Langstrom's voice.
shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
And he stayed on, of course, did in every appearance that character had.
Oh wow. Okay.
Dude, like when you listen to him, it's unmistakable. Like if you picture Mark Singer and you think of him, and then you go back and you think of Kirk Langstrom, you're like, that's definitely Mark Singer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely him. Distinctive voice. Anyway, this has been a fantastic show. Like literally revisiting, the old stuff from the decades. It's been fun. Obviously, we want to thank everybody that's been watching the show so far. We hope that you will continue to watch us here every week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, on Culture Junkies Live. It's a brand new year for us. We're going to be trying to do even more incredible stuff. We've got a couple of guests probably lined up to try and come in the studio and talk with us. Super Nerd Plus is going to be using his silver tongue to try and talk more people into coming onto the show. Because he's got them connects. Over there, he's catching them stars. Like, hey man, you running into Kevin Smith again yet?
No, I wish.
Yeah.
If he got a show in Detroit, I probably will catch him.
Yeah, man, catch him and be like, hey man,
be on the show.
Yo, man, come in.
I think he would totally do it. I bet
you he would, man. Because like, hey man, we're a bunch of nobodies. We're big fans, but we love to have you on the show, bro.
I would laugh if he showed up at the studio.
That would be so dope. I'll be like, holy cow, dog! I can't believe you're here.
I pulled this off.
Right.
What?
You be a legend.
You
would definitely be a legend. Like, okay, GQ, who would you pay if you could get one person to come in and be on the show with us? Who would it be?
Besides Priyanka Chopra?
Yeah, besides, I think she's a little bit busy being, being Joe Jonas's wife and
If
all
she
that.
gets to the studio, she won't be a Jonas for long.
I love that. No,
But,
besides her, who would you get?
Shit, if like it could just period whoever, I'd
whoever.
love to see Sean Connery walk through that door,
Oh
man.
man, I would love to see Sean
Sean
Connery.
Connery,
Period,
can you
man. I wonder
imagine
how
the
he's doing.
stories? Man, you talk about Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
You talk about James Bond.
Yeah.
Man, that man is a
I
legend.
wonder how he's doing, man.
I don't know.
He's
He out there golfing.
He's like completely out of the limelight.
Yeah,
Like
He's
he
out,
is
there,
completely
he's out there in Scotland.
I was
Yeah,
watching
golfing.
Just Cause not too long ago.
Oh really?
Remember him and Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah.
Classic. Me and Megan Sean was talking about it.
Yeah.
How great.
Speaking of that, you should get him in here because he needs to be in here too. So he can rap with us anyway. So all right, y'all. So it's been a fantastic show. We want to thank all of you guys for joining us again. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitch, and or Facebook, and definitely do check out the new culturejunkies.net. It's live right now. A bunch of new articles I put up. Just today I launched an article talking about Sony's massive pimp hand that they got pulling their tricks on people at CES.
That was an elite controller.
Like what? No.
PS that PlayStation
Yeah, man,
controller.
Sony got that flex game going, dude. That shit was awesome.
We know that. So we
It
know
was
that's
like,
an Xbox Elite
hey
controller.
man, look. I even put it in my blurb, right? I put it like this. He was like, they showed their logo at CES. They were like, look, we ain't got to show you nothing. We're Sony.
Hey, nothing wrong with
This
that.
is PlayStation.
And I love,
Hey, listen,
and I
I'm
love
all
how
for it.
We
people,
gonna be in
and
it.
I
You
love
like
how people is
when we
trying to
come out with
deny
stuff
that
like that,
hardcore.
right? Dog. When we come out with our stuff, you gonna be there and you gonna have our money.
Now, hold on. Now,
with the
Period.
shits. I'm
didn't
with the
they
shits.
announce that it's supposed to truly be fully backwards compatible?
They didn't announce
They
That's
nothing.
the rumor mill.
They haven't said
That's the
nothing.
rumor mill. Like they haven't
said
officially said anything.
nothing.
But
yet.
it's a rumor for both of the new systems.
Right.
It's supposed to be 100. But
Everybody was
what
thinking
I hear
that they
is
were gonna
that
do
the
it at CES.
PlayStation 5 is supposed to do it how the Xbox One did it, where you pop in your thing and it downloads the game.
Okay.
So it's emulated, so you actually can upscale it to like 4K and all that.
You know it's weird.
That's what I hear.
If they do that, man, that's game, set, and match.
Yeah, for me, most
What-
definitely.
Yeah.
I can
I'm
put-
still waiting to see how many different consoles Xbox is going to have, though, since it's a series.
They already announced two. Go right ahead, sir.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just weird that the flex game with the gaming system is strong, but the damn film section needs to.
Hey man, look.
Look.
Hey, whoever
we can't win them all.
We've all
I'm
been
saying,
saying that
whoever-
Sony needs
whoever
to
is
drop their
controller-
film division, okay?
Exactly.
Like
Put them all.
I think
Yeah,
what was it? They lost. Didn't they lose a director for the Uncharted movie?
They sure did.
They probably did, yeah. But
Because
here's
Tom
Yeah.
Holland's too busy.
real quick. That's another thing. Just to throw it at the end of the show. That's another thing, decade-wise, that was a real shock and change. Is how far Sony has fallen
Yeah.
in everything else that they've done outside
Yep.
of just their TVs and their PlayStation. That's weird.
And now you
man.
think about it, Marvel Disney really played with him. Let's go ahead and get Spider-Man real quick. We'll get that off you real quick. You ain't using it.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
right.
swear to
Go ahead.
goodness. I swear to goodness.
up.
Either they buy that or Apple just go ahead and just
Apple's
buy
gonna buy
Sony.
them, man.
If Apple buys Sony, it's over.
It's a wrap. Yeah, Apple's gonna buy them. Yeah, for real. All right, y'all. We hope you have a great week. We'll see you back here next week on Wednesday. Peace out.
But
Later, y'all.
everybody.
What was you
Take
watching?
care.
Jenny Babas.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
What the hell you
Is that
got
on
over there
Facebook?
watching?
Oh, yeah, I know her.
She's
She's the